Guys, I am trying to not let sinners become my entire personality, but no lie, it has been so long since I have seen a movie that I am genuinely and truly passionate about to the point where I want to see it multiple times. It's that serious. My brain chemistry has also changed. Like, I don't know. And if I could, real quick, right? The fact that Sinners, Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, Cowboy Carter tour, South of Midnight, the fact that we are all experiencing these things in the same timeline within the same couple of months, it feels very intentional and it's rewiring something for me in my head. And I'm not trying to sound like the friend that's too woke, but this is the right timeline. This is the right timeline. If nothing else, while the world is burning and everything else is going on, one thing black people know how to do is turn shit out. Okay? I One thing we know how to do is turn shit out each and every time. And I can't stop talking about this movie. And I went into I don't know who opened the portal. Like, it's rewiring and it's changing something for me. And I was telling y'all, I've said this many times on stream before. I am not one for time period films and movies. I'm not really a fan of them because a lot of times they're very traumatic to watch. Mind you, very, very educational. And it is important that we don't forget about our history and don't forget about where we have, came from. And so even going into Sinners, going into it, seeing that it's a 1930s production, I was like, I don't know. It's kind of tough. I don't know, but they just did such a great job at uh, my favorite scene. One of my favorite scenes in the movie was when Delta Slim, Cornbread, was Cornbread there? Delta Slim, Cornbread, Stack, and Sammy. They were riding in the car in the middle of the cotton field, right? No, Cornbread wasn't there yet. And Delta Slim was telling the story about him and his friend and how they, were recruited to be in this band. And it ended up the friend ended up getting arrested, and then the friend ended up getting lynched, right? And instead of actually showing us an entire lynching happening on screen, which is what a lot of movies have done before. They just like throw it in your face, and it's like, oh my God, now I have to witness this actually happening. They just did such a nice job of Delta Slim telling the story, and then like you could hear like very faint sounds of like music being played, or you could hear, very faint sounds of like a crowd yelling. It was just sound effects. And Trey said, teach us without traumatizing us. Exactly. Like, it was just. And then, come on, sis. And then at the end of the story, when he started humming and just kind of singing through the pain, because that's what music is. It is about pain. And then Sammy instantly starts playing his guitar after Sack tells him to. It's like, come on. And then come to find out, there was an interview that I know his name is Delroy. Damn, I forgot his last name. I know his name is Delroy, and let's put some respect on that. Lindo, thank you. Let's put some respect on that actor's name because he always does a phenomenal job. Unfortunately, I always call him LeBron James's daddy, and like that, I have to rewire that. I mean, like, what's your daddy doing here? So I have to fix something in my own head. I'm sorry, that's his daddy to me, y'all. I'm sorry. And he did an interview. He did an interview saying that entire scene was improvised. How crazy is that? That's it. I also agree. I think we should also watch Kirkland too. I hope it doesn't get caught for copyright. I just need like a little something in my ear. It was improv. It was improv. Am I opening up Discord? Are we yapping? Oh, not y'all waiting for me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wait. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go in there. Sorry. Okay, that's hooked up. I have seen the Five Bloods. Five Bloods real sad. But also, Chadwick was in that movie. R.I.P. Chadwick. And I'm gonna talk about it on the call, I'm sure. But also, where's my Discord? Hold on, y'all. Sorry. Um, what was I gonna say? R.I.P. Chadwick. I think Chadwick would have done an amazing job. Um, Jonathan Majors, however, mm-mm. I saw a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people were like, oh, this role would have been perfect for him. A role would have been perfect for him. He could have brought his own wardrobe to the movie. Mm-mm. Everybody who needed to be in the movie was in the movie, and that's it. Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so late. Hi, everyone.
No. You on time. You on time.
Come on. Happy Sinners Day, everyone.
Happy Sinners Day.
Okay, where do we?
A lot of us be sinning. You feel me?
Okay, all right. where do we start? Because I've already started yapping, but where do we start? Where do y'all want to start? Also, everyone, this is Penguin Joe and Mark. Sorry. Say hi.
What's up, y'all?
Say hey.
What's up, y'all? What up, Bae Brigade?
I don't know if we want to start like at the beginning and work our way down. Like, where do we want to?
I'm cool with either way. I'm with you.
Might as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Sammy's dad was on some nut ass shit.
Okay, so if we start at the very, very beginning scene of the movie, I thought it was, and it took me like a rewatch to like really understand it, but the way that the movie started was the way that the movie ended. So Sammy was running into the church, right, all bloody, and he has his broken guitar in his hand, and then he's getting these flashbacks of what transpired the night before. And I truly think he was having those flashbacks because it was hella traumatic, but also he was looking at his dad and seeing Remnick in his dad.
Yes,
is how I feel.
Also, the people that were saying, "Oh, his dad's a vampire too." Now, how are you gonna be a vampire in the sun?
How's that work?
Yeah. Come on now.
How's that work? How the daddy gonna be a vampire?
Exactly. Right. But someone brought up the good point of Sammy kind of looking like, okay, am I going to be into the shackles of this religion, of being controlled by this religion, or you know what I'm saying? Or like you said, being with Remnick and being a vampire. It's like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because religion is like such a touchy, it's a lot. That's like a different conversation for a different day. But for Sammy to even walk in that church, and I'm assuming there was a woman that screamed out. I'm assuming maybe that was his mom. I'm not sure.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was.
Because we didn't actually see her.
Right. But even for Sammy to walk in bloody as hell, out doing all the sinning of the night, and the dad only says, put the guitar down.
Yeah, so
damn, that's it? That's all you got to say?
Right. So
you wanted me to join your church.
Nobody asked what happened.
Music, not even to play music. You wanted me to preach. You didn't want me to even play music.
Right.
You just wanted me to join in, just like you say, not to take that conversation that way, but you wanted me to join in. Technically, you're a quote unquote cult. I'm not saying the church is a cult, but saying that like, hey, you want me pretty much the same thing, but it's only good because you're a church. I didn't see it that. You know what I'm saying? Sammy didn't see it that way.
And there's also a point where at the beginning of the movie where Sammy was telling his dad, I'm going to go out and play. And then the dad's all like, be careful because you might bring the devil home with you, whatever. And there's a point where Sammy says like, come on, I need to escape all of this for a day. Right. And I don't think he was just talking about the plantation. I think he was also talking about the church and the religion and everything that comes along with it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that I picked up too, because it's funny how like in the beginning when we get introduced to Sammy, like after that, like after the flashback scene, like where it kind of circles back, but like in the actual day where like you see him searching for his guitar. And he's literally searching for his guitar and is found. Of course, his dad picked it up and his dad took it and put it in the church. And it's, how religion and, church is supposed to be, a salvation, but the very object that literally saved his life was found in his father's church.
Yeah.
And, to me, it's like, okay, that place in itself, gets widely represented as, safety. But to me, instead, it represented like control, because Sammy's father, like, he took it in order to be like, you can get this back, but the reason why I took it is because I want you to do my sermon for me tomorrow. That was like his way of like getting his attention and like kind of controlling him in a way. So he was like, I'm taking this, but I need you to serve my mission, which is pretty much a very mirror or the opposite side of the coin to what we see, with, later on in the movie. But to me, it's like, it shows that like it kind of mirrors a real world dynamic where, even beloved black spaces, like church, has sometimes like stifled black creativity when it didn't fit the mold, and that's why, and I know we're going to talk about this later, but it literally brings it to the point where when he's talking with where you get the flashes where he's talking to Delta Slim about how like blues wasn't forced on us, like that religion. I think that represents at the end where like he couldn't put it down. And like how Joe was saying, where it's like at the very end, that's the first thing his father was like, put the guitar down, where it's like your whatever you think is your salvation is disposable. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to put that down, and because this is where I need you to be saved. You know what I'm saying? Like I need you to be saved the way I need you to be saved. You know what I'm saying? So that that's what I took too.
Oof.
Also, if you grew up in church as a kid, like me, you understand the dynamic of, hey, I got to go to this, I got to go to that, I'm a part of this, I'm a part of that. I just want to escape. I just want to get away from this. I don't want to have to deal with this. I don't want to be in church Sunday, Bible study Tuesday, choir practice Wednesday,
sometimes on Wednesday, right.
Exactly. It's like, hey, I just want to get away, but they want to put you so far into the church because they don't want you to be roaming the streets and want you to get into everything else. To where it's like, hey, the moment that I get a little bit of freedom, I'm not coming back to this.
And I was going to say, quiet as it's kept, sometimes the church kids, once they get a taste of freedom, they be the wildest ones sometimes, because it's like, damn, I was missing out on all of this. They be wilding out.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay, so still talking about the beginning of the movie, but also the end of the movie too, but the church scene specifically when Sammy pulls up. Do y'all remember how I know everyone in the church is dressed in white, but do y'all remember how there was a guy with a horse and carriage outside of the church?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we think that represents anything, or do we think he was just waiting for whoever to come out the church service?
I don't know, because it looked like he was just in the background working, but it's also like I can't fully tell, because like, okay, does everybody on the plantation go to church on Sundays, or it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we doing? What we doing? Because the church was packed. So what we, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we doing?
Right. Okay. Maybe that's nothing. But yeah, I just watched it and I was like, I wonder if he's somebody. But maybe he is just...
It was with the white horse, right?
Yeah.
But they say like death comes on a pale white horse or something like that.
Something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like, I think that could definitely mean like, that could be a definitely Easter egg for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So outside of the church scene, I'm trying to remember where do y'all want to go with this?
I mean, might as well go in chronological order.
I know.
guess
I'm trying to remember. I think I need to rewatch it.
I think after that we get Smoke.
We get introduced to Smoke and Stack, and I should have known that Ryan Coogler was going to go off. Let me say, I have not seen twinning like this since Parent Trap, and Parent Trap was nothing compared to this. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan did what he needed to do. I was convinced he was two different people for real. Like the first scene where we see them and they're trading off the cigarette, it's like, oh, this is serious. Yeah. Oh, y'all are really doing it. They did such a good job. Like, so good.
It was really, because like I was watching because of course, you know, I like all the behind the scenes of it all. You know, that's where I got a lot of my, like, I geek about, you know, film graduate. I geek out about that shit.
Yeah.
And it was cool hearing how like Michael B had to break it down, because technically, so little movie magic here, like they of course had like a stand-in.
Of course, yeah.
But he had to not only act, but he had to like act twice in the same.
Yeah.
Because like, for
Costume
instance,
change and everything.
Yeah, because it was cool the way like he was breaking it down, because he was like, he had to, because it was set, you know, it was filmed on different days. So like, for instance, he had to know how Stack was going to look while he was playing Smoke. You know what I'm saying? So when he looks over, he had to like direct to the body double what he was going to do.
That's
before.
Crazy.
And he was like, it was hard because, for instance, like, let's say today, what's today, Tuesday, he's probably filming all the Stack scenes Tuesday. So he had to direct the double to do things that he wasn't going to know that he was going to do until next Thursday.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So he had to remember what he told the double in a way to be like, okay, I told the double, look left, 45-degree angle, smile crookedly. Boom. That's what I have to do. So you got to remember that. So pretty much he had to act like twice.
Yeah.
It was cool the way he broke that down. It was so dope.
That's insane. Okay, so because I have the picture on my phone. Hold on. So there is this post that somebody made, and a lot of people have been saying it too, a theory about Smoke and Stack and the way that they were dressed. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was 1930s behavior. But people are saying that Smoke was dressed like like the Irish side, so he had on tweed and the boiler hat, and then Stack had on the Italian leather shoes and the fedora, because remember when they went to Chicago, something happened on the Italian side and the Irish side, and that's how they ended up taking all that liquor and bringing it back down to Mississippi.
Yep. That's that. I think that's especially because I know I saw your TikTok as well, but I know we talked about it a little bit with the little tidbit, the Easter egg in the verified artist on Spotify. And it's cool to see that, because I in piecing that together, you could definitely tell that, because when you broke it down and I went back to read it,
those articles are so good. They feel realistic.
The articles are great.
Yeah.
Like, the articles are so good. And it was cool because, you know, they got, like you said in your TikTok, like they got in trouble back in Clarksdale. And I think it's because at the time they were running around and people knew they were twins.
Yep.
But in Chicago, they played one person. So they didn't, and that's why I think, you know, Mary says, you know, it's in the thing, you know, in the when she's talking to Stags, like it's almost about time till they put 2 and 2 together. So you can, so that kind of confirms that they play like one person. But I also noticed too, in two things about the way they're dressed, is, you know, with Stack wearing red, which is traditional, you know, that's a traditional nod to the color of vampires, as you know. That's, you know, when we see vampires, and, you know, traditionally we see them, you know, with the red inside, with the red cape on the inside, stuff like that. And, you know, the red vest and stuff. So, and, you know, Dracula red and stuff like that. But it was cool to me because in the movie, when Annie first was like, we're dealing with Haints.
The Haint Blue.
Haint Blue, exactly. And that's a big thing in, you know, Deep South culture too.
Come on,
where, you know,
listen, I play South of Midnight.
We win it. Where it's like, where, you know, they paint their ceilings and porches and stuff blue to ward off evil spirits. And he was the one to survive by those evil spirits, you know, being warded off. And who helped him ward off the evil spirits? Annie, who was also
a
wearing
good
blue.
Woman. Oh,
a good woman. You see,
she was
and when we first see Annie, she was also wearing blue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then a lot of people were also saying too, Stack and Smoke represented like an angel and devil on Sammy's shoulder too.
Yes, yes, because.
Okay.
And I picked that up too, because Stack was talking about, you know, like the first time Sammy started playing, and I can go more into that too, but like the first time Sammy started playing, first thing Stack said was, "Woo, we gonna make some money. We gonna make some money."
Mm-hmm.
But Smoke, he's not really as impressed with Sammy singing, and when Sammy talks to Smoke at the top, Smoke's like, "Yo, this your last juke joint. You're not doing this. This is not." It's not your place, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go be with the good people, you know what I'm saying? You go do things over there. You go be, if you're gonna escape this everything you want to escape, you got to go do it in the right way, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of goes to where it's like, one's telling him like, yo, you can make a lot of money, like, yo, you got talent, and the other person is like, don't do this. Like, this is like, he's like, I saw many of black musicians, and ain't none of them happy.
And go ahead.
I follow. Oh, no. I can go back to that later.
No, it's a tangent a little bit, but a lot of people are also saying that Sammy's story represents Robert Johnson, but I have not seen the documentary. But it has to do with, I think it's like a true story of a man who allegedly sold his soul to the devil, and he was a soul or blues player. I'm wondering like how closely that all ties into each other too.
So I can help with that. I'm a big fan of blues and stuff like that, and with Robert Johnson. No, I'm old. I know a little something. Yeah, you feel me? I know a little something. But with Robert Johnson is striking to me, and I don't know if are you okay with like skip it, because I know that's a post credit. I know we kind of go in order. Do you want to?
No, yeah. No, you're fine. You're good.
Okay. But like, it's funny because when we see older Sammy, played by the legendary Buddy Guy. Come on, shout out to him.
Shauna's daddy, by the way. I was getting some. Yup.
I was like,
why do you have to say that?
Because listen, it's an Easter egg, because
just in case you did,
getting some head, and then somebody got head in the movie. But like, snap it up. But it's fun because like, there are clues. That's like, if people do want to go with that theory, I totally see it, because they say that Sammy doesn't have a reflection in the mirror sitting there, like him and Stack don't have reflections in the mirror. That could be camera work, because it's just dark IMAX camera. That could be camera work, but
I didn't notice that.
But with Mississippi, so Robert Johnson was also a blues player from Mississippi who they say sold his soul to the devil. And my thing is too, and here's how I can kind of connect that. So with the ending, right, where Sammy was fighting Remick, and he's reciting that prayer, and Remick starts mocking him, and even starts reciting it himself, like, "Oh, I know that one. I can say that too." And he starts reciting the prayer, but also, like, when he's beating him up, he's dunking him in the water,
like baptizing him.
He's baptizing him. And then what saves him? His guitar. He's able to grab the guitar and break it off against Remick's head. And that's his act of like salvation. It's music, not religion. He's been brought up. He's preacher boy. He's been brought up to think, religion and prayer is going to save him. What wind up actually saving him was music. And that's why I feel like when he returns to the church, and the very first thing his father says, like, put the guitar down, like treating the guitar, the thing that really just saved his life, like a threat.
Right.
That's not a coincidence to me. I think Sammy realizes that, like, at that moment, that music is his salvation, and kind of taking the words that Delta Slim said, where he's like, they forced this religion on us. So now he's like, they forced this religion on us, and that kind of gets cemented by Remick reciting the prayer, but it's like not working. Like, he's like, oh, this not saving me. So to me, it's like, not a church, not tradition, but like the feeling that he had playing the blues, the feeling of being alive and flying, and how that truly kept him going. So to me, if a devil at any point came offering Sammy a way to protect that feeling and never lose it again, it's not wild to think Sammy wouldn't consider that offer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially after witnessing that traditional faith alone couldn't protect him when evil literally came knocking. Like, and of course, I'm not saying before y'all get, I'm not saying in real life that prayer and religion aren't powerful. You know, they absolutely are. But I think in this world, you know, Sammy seeing firsthand where true power lives at and where his power is at. I think that is a really good theory. I think he winds up choosing music, even if it meant giving up a piece of his soul to keep flying. Because at the end, where he's like, you know, before he wakes up paralyzed and stuff like that, but he still feels like that's the best night of his life.
Yeah.
Why would you not make a deal to keep that feeling alive?
And it was even powerful too. He never let that guitar go. Driving,
Never.
like he was gripping the guitar.
Yeah.
He knew. It was music. He had to go with music.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, to go back, a lot of people are saying like, oh yeah, like you said, there was no reflection, and yeah, of course there had to be camera work because obviously going to be sick and old. If you're a vampire, you're not going to get sick. You're not.
Very true. You're not going to age, right? That's true.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people's theories behind it is just like, well, if we sit here and think about it, it doesn't fully make sense.
Yeah,
it's just going to be camera work because that was a nice touch, but I'm like, that has to be just camera work because ain't no way, because it would be like, oh, he would just keep playing guitar, that would be it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I want to talk about Remnick, but I'm going to try to go in order. So after we see Smoke and Stack, they are at the building where the juke is going to take place, right? A lot of people, I know there are the vultures over, I forgot their names, the house, right? But a lot of people are saying that they saw vultures in the distance above the building where the juke was. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
I do remember because I did stop and look. I do remember seeing birds flying around. But I cannot remember which scene I saw them in. But
I can't remember.
Flying and circling. So I can't remember if it was towards the end or if it was at the beginning. Not fully remember. But I do remember seeing, because I looked at it, I was like, well, why are the birds circling there?
Now, do we think the birds, because what dude say the building used to be a what?
Sawmill or something?
Slaughterhouse.
No,
it was something wild.
Slaughterhouse, yes.
Because one of the twins was talking about, oh, did y'all just clean these floors? So yes. I wonder if the birds were circling.
Like they kind of knew.
Yeah, they kind of knew, or they knew what was about to go down in that building.
Probably both. I would definitely expect both. Yeah.
They, you know what I'm saying? Because if you know, hey, I'm going to eat from here, I'm going to circle around this area. If I see people around here,
exactly.
I know to come get something to eat.
That's interesting. Okay, so they buy the building. I'm moving out of order. I feel like it's also intentional that when Smoke, Stack, and Sammy get together and they drive off to that truck that is hidden somewhere and it has like the hooch in the back and then the snake jumps out with the jump scare. I think it's interesting that Smoke is the one that kills the snake because he's the one that kills Remnick in the end. I feel like that's intentional.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that means something.
Your third eye open.
It's not like I be turning it on. The snake probably representing the devil, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I think
big brain.
Hey, I think that's a great observation too, because right after that, you know, Smoke looks at Sammy and is like, it's best to let us take care of the truck. Right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, he tells Sammy to go and goes to the truck because he has to take care of the people that's coming.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so y'all want to go to the town with Smoke, or you want to go to the train station with Stack?
Ooh.
Might as well go to the town. Go to the town first.
Okay.
Because I know y'all gonna get they gonna get freaked out here in a minute. So let's stay on track first.
Okay.
But no, I do find it funny and kind of hilarious. Not hilarious, but how anytime that they talked about money, it was always divisible. And I was talking to Kat, and the Cat was like, yeah, so
Oh.
that way it would be equal for both parts. Remember, he told the little girl, "I'll give you 20 cents."
Right.
At first, I think he said a nickel, and then it said it'll be 10 cents and then 20 cents. But if you look back at it, anytime that they have struck a deal, it was always something that was evenly divisible.
Interesting. I didn't know this.
So I think even when he went in to get the sign painted, I think he had told her 10 at first as well, and then 20. When he was talking about cornbread, he told him 40. So everything was kind of divisible.
I like that.
That's interesting. What I did learn from this movie, I had no idea that there was such a big Chinese presence in the South like that. I had no idea. I did not know. And I thought it was so interesting because I've been seeing, there was this one video circulating, and I wish I knew exactly where it came from, but it was a lady who was actually from the South, and she was Chinese, and she was, talking about her experiences there, and saying that the Chinese people were basically like bridging the gap between the white people and the black people. They were like in the middle, and we saw that in the movie because the fact that they had two stores, mind you, on the same street but on different sides, that's insane. That's wild.
Yeah, that's so I learned too where it was like that of course back then when communities were, it's of course still segregation, that one side would be for white patrons, one side would be for black patrons, and we gonna get to her, but I noticed,
Look,
I'm ready for the slander.
Yeah, I noticed, Bo was working with the black people.
Okay. Okay.
Grace was working on the opposite side of the street.
Okay.
But yeah, that's.
I'm gonna say she ain't did nothing wrong. All right, bro, don't get me started.
I watched.
I'm not sure how to connect it, but I do think it's interesting that when Grace comes over to the black side where Stack is, and at this time Stack had already Smoke. It was Smoke. I'm sorry. Smoke had already shot those two men, one in the knee, one in the butt, right? And he still took it upon himself to be like, oh, let me, put some money on their healthcare or whatever. And it is interesting that Grace, walked over. She saw those bodies shot on the floor, whatever. But, she mentions it real quick, but it's business as usual. The same thing kind of happened later on in the juke. When somebody was laid out on the floor. But hey, business as usual. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Oh, I can't wait to get to that part.
We almost there.
I'm gonna go in on that part.
Also, do we think there's any rhyme or reason for, I know that's the only color paint that they had, but for the sign for the juke to be painted red with like devil ears or whatever on the letters, that felt kind of intentional. I don't know.
I shared something in Discord. I think it was a TikToks, but I think they said in Chinese cultures that's an omen. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
To have that. So I said, okay. But once again, it's not like we, you know what I'm saying? It's not like we knew that.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, even with what we talked about too, with like, people in the deep South painted things blue to ward off spirits.
Right.
It's funny how the opposite color could attract that.
Yeah, with the horns specifically.
Right.
That felt like, why would you go out of your way to what? Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the train, y'all, where we see Miss Mary for the first time.
Baby.
If I ever hear a conversation like that in public, I'm gonna be messy. I'm like, they nasty.
Oh my god, they nasty. I'm just trying to catch my train home. I do want to say, I've been seeing, if I put on my kufi, I've been seeing a lot of conversations saying that they shouldn't have picked Haley to be in that movie, in that role, but I don't understand.
Why?
But I don't understand why not. A lot of people are saying like,
Why?
oh, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you should have made it a person that is more visibly mixed, visibly black, whatever, whatever. But I also think a lot of people are putting a 2025 perspective on something that was very real in the 1930s, where
Right.
if you were a drop of Negro, you were black.
Yeah, you wasn't. Yeah, you were black for sure.
Yeah.
Also, she said her daddy was half black. What was y'all expecting?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they're missing the point.
Focus one of Zendaya in the film. Like, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she pissed me off in the movie, but I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did. And I think too, like, it makes sense that she was casted because that's why Remick asked, like, oh, how she get in here?
And
So if she was any,
said, I know that ain't. I know you lying. I know that ain't.
like, that ain't what I think it is. Like,
oh my god, yeah, that whole conversation was it was something. And Miss Perline,
yeah,
Miss Perline was bad. She really was.
Perline was eyeing my boy from the jump.
Okay, what Joe?
I think the dialogue with Delta Slim, right there, like just him talking, pretty much saying, hey, this place is gonna be here they've been here for 10 years, they're gonna be here for another 10 years. I'm not about to go there because y'all not gonna be there. And he was right the whole time. Right the whole time.
Yeah. Even with him saying, like, I don't have many, it's probably gonna be there longer than I am on this world at this point. And yup, sure enough.
Damn.
Also, they was just paying him in some liquor. And
that's it. Some hooch.
Crazy.
That's it.
Hey.
And he licked his chops and got on that harmonica, didn't he?
Right back in the day.
He said, that'll do. Okay. That'll do. Sammy asked Perline. Perline said, I'm married. Sammy said, happily. Sammy, where you learn that game at, Sammy?
That's a bar.
Where you learn that at? Bar. They didn't teach you that in the church, Sammy.
From me. I wrote that part.
Shut up.
I did.
Shut up.
Like, hey, right there, add that. But that was the thing. Also, what was the point? Like, why was you traveling to be like, oh yeah, I got to get back to my husband? Why'd you bring him up?
I don't know.
We ain't seen him not once. We ain't seen him ever.
Yeah, I don't know the point of like even writing in that she was married. I thought the husband was gonna go down to the juke with her.
That's what I thought.
Because she's a sinner.
Oh, sinner. Okay.
Your third eye ain't open.
Your third eye open.
I close it. Okay. Okay. So we leave the train station. And then we go over to Miss Annie's house, and Miss Annie gets bent over the. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
I stood up and clapped.
Okay.
I stood up and clapped when that happened. I said, he said, your body didn't forget me. I stood up. I said, oh my God, that's ball. The moment she said that, I heard flex bombs go off. I said, whoa. I said, that's a bar.
The nearest convenience store. I need you to go in the register and take the money. Because their money is your money right now.
You know that gif of like Gunna writing and it's like fire? I was like, oh, that's heat. That's heat. I said, oh, that's going in notes.
I say, oh, this is rated R. Oh, this is a grown movie. Oh my God. Wow.
But I do think Annie's house it does kind of stay in the it still is something. A lot of scenes that we saw back in the movie kind of still relate to nowadays. Annie's house really is just like the candy lady in the neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really what it was.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even when the kids at the beginning, when the kids were asleep, 3 of us went over to our granny house and all of us put a little paddling on the floor and slept in the, you know what I'm saying? It was so
right.
It's just the small nuances that just like this is for us. This is for us.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's very to me it was very beautiful, like in that whole scene of like the transfer of power in a way, right? Or like the showcasing of power. Because that's a big trope in films too, where like you notice like somebody like who seems powerful gives up that, but like when they step onto the scene with somebody who actually has like more power than them.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time we're seeing how tough Smoke is, right? Where he's like, he kills the snake, he shoots the two people in the ass, he's like ordering Sammy around, like, no, you do what you told, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, the grown man bullet, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see him with Sammy, was not Sammy, I'm sorry, Annie, when we see him with Annie, you see like him try to get Buck. He tried to he still keeps that toughness, but she immediately makes him soft and
yes,
and I love that because and you see her do it with such I would say with such powerful grace, right? Or graceful power, however way you want to say it, because she goes like, how what I do every day don't make you the powerful man that you are. Don't keep you as the powerful man that you are. And like when she says that, if you notice, like behind her, it gets very blurry. And then I think like you see like the tug of war power in that little scene where like he tries to, his ego's wounded, so he brings up, well, why didn't a mojo bag, protect our baby, right? And it starts to like behind her starts to get clear, but she doesn't attack him. She just goes like, I don't know, but it worked for you.
Yeah.
And it just shows who really has that power, because just like what Joe was saying, like, the first time we see Annie, she's selling, protection to the children, and she's like, go, don't sell this on the way home, make sure you get that to your mom. So she's not only a protector of like herself and even him, but a protector of the community. You know what I'm saying? And that's such a powerful thing. Like they showed such power behind that character in just like that moment alone.
I'm going forward just a tiny bit, but even when they are at the juke and then Annie is the one that calls out like, no, these are vampires that we're dealing with. Nobody questioned her. Smoke didn't question her. It was like, yeah, I hear you. You're absolutely right. This is what we need to do, blah, blah, blah. And also, if my third eye is back on just for a second, it is interesting to me that when a lot of people, not everyone, but I do see a lot of people when they talk about sinners, and we have two different relationships. We have Smoke and Annie, and then we have Stack and Mary. And a lot of people are focused in on Stack and Mary. They're talking about the spit, they're talking about the sex scenes, they're talking about, the conversations that they're having at the train station. But I also think it's important to talk about Smoke and Annie, specifically Annie, because just Annie being a plus size, dark skinned woman is so important, and like even having that representation like that on the big screen. And a lot of people are making this content and making posts and talking about, oh, well, I thought that was his mama, oh, I thought that was his sister, why can't it be his lover? And
I didn't like
not?
The mom at all.
What made you see Annie in that first scene and automatically think, oh, that must be his mama? First of all, she don't look old enough to be his mama.
Right.
Why are brains even going in that direction? And so I think it's important to like, yeah, Stack and Mary were cool, but like the connection that Smoke and Annie had, it was so strong, and it was so apparent.
Whole much stronger connection, like 100%. Because in the talk about like that connection, it was so dope because one, to go back to what you said too, and to go back a little bit earlier, like how I was saying, like they were 7 years in Chicago. And like the first time they stepped back, he's wearing blue, she's wearing blue. So it kind of even shows like that connection, like even just down to that tidbit. But also the fact that like he goes like, I've been all around this, world. I've been a soldier, been here, there, this, and the third. I traveled, I've seen planes, cars. I've seen people, I've seen, money, and that's real power and stuff like that. But he literally says like, I never came across no demons, never came across no spirits, but he kept that mojo bag. And it's cool to know that, like how you said, where like he didn't question her for a second.
No.
Even though earlier in the shack, he's like, I never seen no demons. So the one time he does see demons, he looks directly at her. He's like, what do we do? Like, he's like, what is this? Like, she didn't have to sway him. Like, hey, like she didn't have to do nothing. Like, even with his own brother, he was like, I can't put him out the place, but I'm gonna go with you out to get distance from him. That was great.
Just beautiful. Where are we? After
hold on now.
Oh, where are we? Yes.
Back in that shack.
Hey.
She said, "Your body ain't forgetting me." I said,
in a different language. I say, Annie.
He licked his ear off. I think I barked in the theater. I moaned. I did something.
They need to kick you out.
I said, woo. I was Lakeith Stanfield in the theater. I started moaning. I said, hey, oh shit. My left leg started twitching. I said, hold on. I said, she licked the air after you licked the air after saying that. I will fold like a laundromat. I said, holy shit.
Oh my God.
They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that.
I said, oh my God.
Somebody in the Discord or on social, they said they heard somebody in the theater say, damn, must be nice.
No, that brother's starving.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so Annie gets bent over, and then where are we? We going down to the juke now?
No,
before we get too far.
We picking up? Are we picking up?
Did Lucy
we didn't pick up cornbread.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Bo's daughter, did she have beef? Because she always was looking at them like she had problems with them.
Yeah, Bo's daughter, like when she was waving by, Bo's daughter seemed all mean. I was like,
she got that from her mama.
Like, what's up?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it seemed like she was just being the nosy teenager, preteen to me.
Fair.
True. Yeah.
Maybe.
Hello.
Hi,
everybody.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Good. I wanted to jump in and say nobody mentioned the negotiation with the little girl.
Yes.
Yes.
In front of the store. I personally really love that scene. As like a Black woman, personally, like understanding your worth. Like, yes, we really want to be in these spaces, but being in the spaces is not enough. We have to actually know our worth. I really, really did appreciate that.
Yes.
That was a really good scene. That was and it was like kind of teaching her how to make sure nobody, like, especially in that time period, but make sure like nobody like took advantage. Like, no, always ask for, because I love the way he said it too, where he was like, oh no, now we talking money, and money always needs to be in conversation with each other. That's and that goes for today. Like, you know, like that's how you negotiate for your raise or S&B. You know, I'm sure you know, like when people try to play in your face on like deals and stuff like that, you like now we talking money. That we need to have that conversation. You know,
exactly.
It's like ask for your worth, but then add tax on top of that. That's my motto. Put a little something extra on it. Come on,
Because listen, the IRS. Hey, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take it.
Each and every time. Yeah.
I really love that scene. But we're talking about, because I was watching this stream, Annie in the shop. Girl, I was in the
now we back in the shack.
We can stay in the shack. I can do it. We can stay for 3 hours in the shack. I said, I will close them shack doors.
I was with my best friend. We were both like, what? Okay, it's this type of movie.
No questions asked, just immediately. It I thought we were making mojo bags.
There was some mojo.
It was making some mojo. It wasn't in the bag though.
I can't. I love that for them. That's what I'm saying. It never gave mother. It never gave relative.
Never. And and you know what? Let's talk about that. People who say that, hate yourselves. I'm sorry. Y'all really do. Y'all hate yourselves. Y'all hate yourselves. Y'all hate y'all because like so y'all can't. It's very like it's very weird how like you see the dark skin, you know, plus size black woman, and y'all immediately think mother figure, but y'all see the petite white woman, and y'all go, oh, must be, especially when like, okay, cool. Mary said, you know, the thing about, you know, what she said at the train station, but like Annie and Smoke was actually fucking.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I cursed. You know what I'm saying? But like, they were actually
getting it
so
in.
it's like
over the mojo bag. Yeah.
Right.
Turning the
so
shack
like
out. Yeah.
And when and like, you know, like she's speaking in different languages, licking ears. Like they actually had like physical, intimate, you know,
till the shack
what you call it? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, you know that's right. But like with that, and y'all still are like, oh, I thought that was this, that, and the third, but it's like
no.
It also goes back into the characterization of black women when you look back. I know.
Yes.
You look at Tom and Jerry.
Especially back then.
The mammyism.
The mammyism of it all. Yep. The mammyism. Yep.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. It's terrible.
And that goes to a lot where like a lot of and I'm calling people out like a lot, not people, hopefully not people in the chat, but I'm calling people out like a lot of black men even to today see, you know, they have this issue where, you know, they look at black women even if they're their partners as mother figures, people that are supposed to put,
the strong one,
rooms
the strong one.
Right,
wait, before you go further,
come on,
put it on,
put it on, because it's even a conversation where stuff happens with celebrities, politicians. They start doing wild shit, whatever. People in the comments gonna talk about, well, if they were with a black woman, none of this would have happened. What makes you think?
Right,
black women
that you can just get that shit off on black women. That like black women ain't gonna take this shit.
They are not the savior. They are not the savior. But then you don't protect them, but you need them when shit goes wrong.
Right. You like, and I think that goes just like what you said. I think that goes to her is like she was a person of protection, not only for Smoke but of the community, but as a partner. As a partner, as you know what I'm saying, like, you know, she, you know, like how she made that motive as a partner, not as a, you know, not, oh, I gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying, like, and it's just, that's just, I don't know, that's just crazy to me. That's just, yeah, I definitely hate that type of discourse, and like we still see that today. You know what I'm saying? We still see that today.
It was happening with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, it's happening with Shannon Sharp. The NBA and NFL getting lighter and lighter.
It's just
because my first concern was seeing Annie. I was like, is this somebody that he's just gonna like take things from and not really have a connection to? Because there's also a conversation about that, about how you could just take and not necessarily give or have a connection.
Right.
But I was like, there has to be something there. Like they're showing her for a reason, and they're showing her doing this for some purpose. And boy, did he have a purpose.
He had a purpose.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like even what you were saying, Uni, too, is like, you know, even the initial ask of her was to provide for the community, right? To cook for the juke joint, right?
I know that fish had slept.
Oh, I know that catfish was good.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know it did. Oh my God. Wee. But it was crazy, like seeing like how like it was such a beautiful thing seeing how like, oh, you know, I know like as a partner, you know, I can ask you to not only provide, but I also still like got your back. Like you could see the connection is still just as strong. It wasn't like he was just like taking stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was cool.
Yeah. Also, since we still up in the shack, am not a prude by any means, but I do think it was really nice and beautiful that even though there were intimate scenes, there were sex scenes in the movie, there was no nudity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like the point still got across and we still understood
Very
what the
much
feeling
so.
was.
Yes.
I don't know. It was kind of nice to see. It was refreshing, I feel like.
It was, yeah. It was done. It was done really nicely. I like that.
Yes.
Now that we're out of the
Ryan
shack,
Coogler, freak.
and an eater. Now that we're out of the shack, are we going?
Whoa.
Are we going? I don't have anything about picking up cornbread. Do you guys?
That brother that missed out on the most
man.
insane.
Hey man.
Hey. For that $40?
His wife said, how much?
Yeah, his wife
said, how much? And she made that face, and I said, he better take that deal.
Yeah.
Neck thrown off the bone, and that brother died.
Yeah. I mean, somebody was getting some neck. Okay, so leaving picking up cornbread, can we go over to the house where the Native Americans were?
They had that shit on.
They did.
You want to do that or Delta Slim? The car.
Oh, okay, yes. Tell me your thoughts because at the beginning I was talking about it, but yes, you guys tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
The way that they said that monologue was improv.
Yeah.
It was improv. Yeah.
I would not have believed you if you told me that.
Yeah.
I would not have believed you.
Oh, it was so well done.
It was so well done. And that's really just what I was like, that was so well done. And like to that kind of showcase, like, what am I trying to say here? That kind of showcased the fact of like how us as Black people and, you know, Black culture that wasn't just exposition to me. Like that was like a living, breathing reminder of why music is definitely so important to us, right? And how we like transform pain, how we tell stories, you know, how we make beauty out of like, you know, horror, you know, and how we can document history in melody, especially now, because like it made me think about it where like, you know, what we're seeing now, where like, you know, the Trump administration is trying to get rid of, you know, the African American Museum. It's trying to, you know,
they trying to send the little they're trying to send the table at the diner back. How you gonna send that back?
Like the whole
that's insane.
It's really insane, and it just shows like how no matter what, like whatever we're doing with, whether it's celebration, joy, pain, storytelling, love letter, dreams, goals, whatever the case may be, we can tell that through melody, and it really does show how in depth our music is and our roots, and the way that he was able to like tell a story and immediately go into song with it. You know, we see that today. You know what I'm saying? We see that with, you know, let's look at, you know, Beyonce with, you know, her saying like, you know, they tell me I'm too country, then I do country, then they tell me I'm not country enough. You know what I'm saying? And like, or like, of course, you know, in the Lemonade album, you know, or like let's say Sandcastles, right? Where like she's able to turn that, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know, she's able to turn that pain into a song.
Oh, and you heard it. Oh, and you heard it. Oh,
you heard that hurt, just like you hear the hurt of him, you know, start humming in the car. Like that doesn't go away for us, you know. And just whether it's pain like that, or whether it's, you know, a strike of, you know, revolution, like you know, Kendrick's with They Not Like Us, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like a way where it's like no matter what, we know how to tell our stories through music, you know?
Yeah, I was even thinking like, because I recently re-listened through Damn, like beginning to end, and you can really, when you like stop and process, you could like, especially in that last song, you could feel the emotion as he's telling that story. That like it almost made me cry. I'm like, you went through something really crazy. And you could not be here. But here you are telling this story. And while like most people are just enjoying it simply for the melody or think because he can rap, he's really telling a good story here.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Joe.
Skipped over. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Skipped over the point of him telling Sammy, oh, I'll let you drive, but on the way back.
Yeah, and he did drive on the way back. Yeah.
He surely did.
I think this conversation about music is super important because it's something that we see later on in the movie at the juke.
Yes.
But before we get there, we got to talk about the house. We got to talk about the house and the vultures flying over the house and the way the Native Americans pulled up. Had that shit on, mind you.
Had that shit
First, we have to talk about how Rimnick fell from the ground.
I was just about to say that. Like a fallen angel.
Yes, burning, skin burning. Mind you, the people answered the door didn't ask no questions about skin burning.
Right, but they want to ask questions to the
hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. They deserve everything. They deserve to get bit. Because
like the New York came out, I was like, don't let that man in your house.
Oh my
God.
And
I love how I love how like the natives were just like, we're gonna give you one warning.
Hey.
You don't let us in.
Hey,
dog.
People,
have fun.
Good luck.
People were saying like, oh, I wish they would have came back later on in the movie. For what?
Girl, that's your problem.
Yeah, what?
They said what it was.
Their feet is kicked up. They not worried about it. We tried.
It's above me now.
It's above me now.
That's what they basically said.
They looked in the house, saw them hoods. They say, you know what? Have the day you deserve, babes. That's okay. No, I'm super good. I'm cool. A lot of people are saying that in the house there was a crib. Do we think a baby was there, or a baby was potentially to happen, or I don't know?
Probably.
Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people are saying maybe she was pregnant.
We would have seen. That's interesting. I didn't see that one.
She
could have been pregnant, or at least trying.
Maybe trying. I don't know if she was pregnant, but
we don't give a fuck about none of that.
Not you say F the baby.
Hey.
I mean, low key.
High key.
Right? They making clan hoods and 2T.
Man, I ain't got the time.
All I hear is criticize.
I ain't got the time. Okay, so bit the people in the house, and then we go to the juke, right?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think we go to the juke. Yep.
How does it start? I'm trying to think. It just immediately, because we don't see flashbacks until the end of the movie of them setting up and stuff. So we go down.
I think this is when everybody's coming in. And the scene at the bar.
Yes.
Question mark?
Yes. Scene at the bar. And they're like, "Oh, we got this fine Irish whatever, and this Italian wine whatever." He said, "Ooh, y'all are uppity. Let me just get your best ooch."
That's it.
And if I put my kufi on again, I might as well keep it on at this point. I did not know about these wooden coins. I was not aware of that.
Oh yeah, no.
And
plantation money, yeah.
And it is
plantation credits.
It is so fucked up that they were paying them with these wooden coins that you could only use probably on the plantation or nearby areas. And when you have conversations about how there is lack of generational wealth and all of these things that Black people have gone through, look at how they were paid. They were paid with wooden coins. How were they supposed to get up?
They wasn't.
I took it as when they all went in the back and talked about, like, this ain't charity work.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like how we always say, like, support Black businesses, but then when it comes to like, if it's your friend's Black business or your family member's Black business, you're like, oh, like, you know me, like, give me a discount, like, you know me. And I was like, no, you gonna pay these 50 cents just like everybody else in here.
Yeah.
If you're gonna support fully.
And I don't want to go on a tangent. Black business is such a
oh no, let's tangent. I'm with it. We here.
Now it's a grits and eggs podcast. I don't know.
Do the knowledge. Do the knowledge.
It's such it's such an iffy thing because yes, to your point, yes, you should be paying the same amount that everyone else is paying. You shouldn't be coming in asking for discounts, this and that. But on the opposite coin, a lot of people are going in business because of the hustle of it all. A lot of people are going into business without a piece of customer service. We see this, the Keith Lee experience in Atlanta, and he was going to the restaurants where they had grass on the walls and they were treating him bad. We see this time and time again. I see it. Trying to find somebody to braid my hair, and then you gotta come in pre-washed, pre-blow dried, have my hair already parted. Nobody wants to. It's so
take your deposit. You don't get it back. They in Miami.
And they wanted to crucify Wallow for saying that.
Yeah,
it don't matter because your business is black. Do you have the only people that can get away with it is a Jamaican restaurant. That's the only place.
Oh, I know. The only place. And I'll be like, you right. You right. I came in late. That's my bad.
You know what?
Yeah.
I didn't look at the menu. I didn't know you was out of curry chicken. My fault. Yeah. I won't ask again.
I can't read. My fault.
Yeah, my fault. And I get to think your side eye. That curry goat's gonna smack.
Okay.
Yes.
But it goes back to the point of just because it's black owned, you're not giving quality service. You're not giving nothing. But you want to say, hey, support me because it's black owned. How many times has it been, hey, we've ordered something from a black owned company and it took 6 months for
weeks to ship. 6 months to ship. I'd be like, bro.
And then it's like when people do voice their concerns about, yo, where is my order? It's been 3 months. You hating on the black business.
You hating.
And as somebody that owns a black owned business, it's still like you still have to compete with the people that don't look like you, but that you cannot slip up and not provide because then it's going to be like, oh, they're a scammer, they're this. We don't take their business seriously. We don't do this. But it's like you give Amazon deliver your package a day late. You're like, all right, you know what? That's fine. Amazon ain't gonna do me dirty.
Not me.
Get your stuff. I tell you, hey, it's gonna take 2 to 3 days, and you get it in the 3 days. This shipping takes way too long. My brother in Christ, what you want?
Okay, so where are we? Okay, so after the scene at the bar, they go back, they have the conversation about accepting money, whatever. Are we at the music scene?
Yeah, I think we're at Delta's playing piano and then introduces Sammy. Yep.
I cannot remember the last time I have seen something so beautiful. I'm not being dramatic.
I need that picture of them dancing with the shed burning, with the juke truck burning. I need that. I need that.
Yeah, I need that. That got to be framed. I got to hang that up. I need that. As a poster for sure.
So me and DJ have been listening to the soundtrack on Spotify, and we were listening to "I Lied to You," the name of the song, and
you was listening to Rod Wave.
Not that part. And the moment where you hear the beat change and you start to hear like some of the other eras kicking, I still get goosebumps. Like it is so
hearing that Drake. I lost I said, oh, they did this. This is perfect.
Oh my God. It's so well done. And so that's why I was saying, so the first time I saw the movie, it was in standard. The second time we went to go see it, it was in IMAX. And the way the aspect ratio changes in the screen.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
Oh my God. Oh, just
it was perfect. Like that was that is, and it's funny because now, watching, seeing like Ryan Coogler's work over the years, now you see like that makes so much sense. And like, remember in like Black Panther 1, where like the ship goes into the thing and then it opens up and then like all the stuff comes out the water and like the whole tribe is there dancing and like singing music. That reminds me a bit of that, where it's like how he uses music to open a scene up.
Yeah.
And that's Ryan Coogler's bag. That is his bag. And it was crazy because like seeing like like the tribal dances and like the drums, and you hear the electric funk guitar. You see the DJ. You see the ladies twerking with, like, dancing with the people who doing like the tribal dances, like showing that it's all the same roots, like it's all history.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
All the same.
Yes.
And like, it was cool because even like, and just like, because I know people have been, I don't know if y'all have, but there's been a lot of discourse lately,
of course,
about the what is it about, like, Black Americans not having culture and
go to hell.
Don't get me started.
Go to hell.
Right.
Go to hell. Go to
You know
hell.
what I'm saying? But like, that goes to show, because like, that goes to show right there how like it's history and culture all together. Like, it's all in one. You know, we don't really have one without the other, you know, especially in today's world. But it's crazy because I also, even on like a small tidbit, this could be a reach, but even on a small tidbit, when I saw it, think about like, you know, when the Dr. when the Dre synth came in, or the piano chord came in, and then, you know, the roof was burning. I think about what, you know, how juke joints evolved. You know, juke joints evolved to kickbacks and house parties. And what is one thing they said in 90s house parties? The roof.
The roof is on fire, right? Right.
That was such a cool little tidbit connection for me, because I was like, it just goes to show, like, Black Heartland, like we like, that's what we do. Like, we whether in, you know, we find a way to party, to survive, to thrive. And that shows community, you know, where it's like, that's where cookouts come from. That's where kickbacks, house parties, you know, is us. It's community, music, and food.
And that's what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, because I agree. I saw it as a callback to The Roof is on Fire, but I also saw it as, no matter what is going on, we as Black people are always going to find a way to find some kind of joy and some kind of
something.
You always gonna find a way to throw something on the grill.
Exactly. Okay.
It's your dog's birthday. Fire it up. Fire up the grill.
Okay. And so it is so interesting because the roof is on fire at this point. And mind you, the people in the juke are having a time, okay? With the ancestors having a time, not just with Black ancestors. There was Chinese representation.
Right. I love that part. That was cool too.
And
we still gonna talk about that.
And so they are in there having a time, going up, already in community. And then who do you have outside looking
right
in,
outside,
talking about, I want a piece of that.
Waiting to get invited to the cookout.
I want a piece of that.
It's like Chris Brown. You hating from outside. You can't even get in.
My God. And so at this point, they pull up to the door. And, you know, I hate to say it, I've been singing that Pig Poor Robin Clean. It's a catchy little number. I'm sorry, it is. I'm sorry.
You gonna have to eat a garlic clove. I don't have to see you eat a garlic clove right now.
It's a catchy little vibe.
I kind of did too.
I was tapping my foot.
And my best friend was like, "You better stop."
See?
Can't have nothing.
I was tapping my foot just a little bit. I really was.
Not you was with Stack bobbing your head like, oh, they got good. They would have got me outside. Like,
now that's
no.
Wait, we done skipped the stage.
Wait, what we skip?
We gonna skip
Preacher Boy. Yes, Preacher Boy.
We're not there yet. Are we?
Are we?
No, no, because the roof is on fire, and then they pull up to the door.
No, she's right. And then after they kick him out the first time, then it goes back to inside the juke joint.
Joe,
sure.
I've seen the movie twice. Come on now.
You sure?
Okay, so they pull up to the door, and they are there for kindness and fellowship.
I hated that.
For kindness and fellowship, for love, for community. And again, it's so crazy because these people already had community. They were already having a time. Why do you need to insert yourself? And not only, it's not that they're just trying to join in their community. They're trying to make their own community. They're trying to recruit these people into their own community. And again, I'm not trying to get too much on religion, but this is It always reminds me. It reminds me of Christianity, and it reminds me of how people went over to these other countries trying to implement Christianity in people that already had their own stuff going on. It's like the same concept to me. They're good where they're at. They don't need to be a part of what you got going on.
Exactly.
Right, and it's crazy because it's crazy because just like how you said, where it's like they go to these different countries, they go to these different communities to put that religion into those countries, into those communities, and they don't even fully believe it themselves. Like they be the worst sinners.
Hell, if we're really getting into it, we could talk about what happened with the Native Americans. This was their country first. Then you had people come over to their country, made them conform to what they had going on, made them cut their hair and cut their braids off. It just keeps repeating itself. That's it. That's it. It's just, and
I love how in that moment too. Sorry, I love how how like Ryan Coogler wrote it, and how I think Remick is played by Jack O'Donnell, and the way that when they go like, "Are you Klan?" and that reminds me of how like people be so offended when you like call them out racist. And they be like, he was like, oh no, me? No, Klan. Oh no.
My best friend is black.
Yeah, you voted for Obama twice.
Like, oh my God. He was like, no. As you see, look, I don't mess with them. I even turned two of them into into my people.
But it is interesting. I'm sure we're gonna touch on it, but it is interesting that Ryan Coogler made Remnick Irish, because even the history of what Irish people went through, there was a long period of time where Irish people weren't really considered white, and so Ryan Coogler has a very good way of making a very complex villain. Even Killmonger, was talking. I was like, well, he's not wrong completely. I kind of get it. So it's very interesting how Remnick was Irish, but it was like when he was speaking from an Irish perspective, but there's still a lot of parts where like, no,
it crossed over.
You're still kind of it's really interesting. It's interesting.
That was a really good point, because like I look at, of course, because like you said, like how Irish people, Irish people, they had their own oppression too, and they dealt with their own hardships too, potato famine and things of that nature. But I always find it funny, like even when other cultures other cultures go through things, they still like to find a way to come to us for help. And if we see that today, remember how everyone wanted to protest and was asking, well, where the black people at? We can't do this without the black people, but we been telling y'all, hey, this is not gonna go the way y'all want. This is not gonna go the way y'all think. We step back out and we uphold our own community. Be like, no, we not dealing with what y'all got going on. And then now when they are getting oppressed and they're getting, when they find out like everything that's been going on is also hurting them, now it's like, oh, we really need the black people to come out. We so sorry. No, fellowship.
Kindness.
You talk about at a protest. I don't know what to do. Can we make it more family friendly?
They up there having parades. They up there having a parade. Talk about, can we bring a bounce house to the protest?
And Donna was saying that. Them crumping.
They doing balloons and face paints.
Them crumping isn't the wildest thing at a protest. I'm gonna keep it real, because you asking for a bounce house. Them crumping ain't that wild.
And that's crazy, because my thing is too, like they talking about like we're the black people, but let 5 black people hang out at the park and we got to call the police.
Exactly.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Okay, where are we? So, Remick, he kindness and fellowship, blase blase. He looks inside, looks at Mary. He said, "I know she ain't talking. Well, I don't see. Well, who is that over there? How is she?
Don't look. Ain't she one of mine?
Hey, hold on.
Whose man is this?
Do we already get vampires in this place? Well, I can't think.
She ain't no diva.
Americans
and Mark.
Did we already infiltrate this? Who got in here?
I can't lie for a second.
African Americans plus
Mark. One of them?
Hold on. Okay, so eventually they're not allowed in the little juke. They leave, and then I think it's Preacher Boy and
oh, you know what? Quick thing I noticed too. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
About Remick, and if you notice, the two twins had 2 silver coins around their neck, but Remick was always offering 2 gold coins.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yep. I picked that up too, because if you notice, like when
because why would a vampire have a silver coin?
Right.
Bingo.
And the fact that the fact that like he even like being an Irish immigrant that Remick was, and everything that happened with him, like having 2 gold coins and the 2 twins having like silver coins around their neck. I just thought that was
were they coins or were they dog tags like from the military?
I think they were circular coins.
I thought they were dog tags.
Let me look it up.
Let me do my Google.
Let me Google.
Yeah,
they might have been dog tags from the military. But same sentiment.
I thought it was a dog tag.
But same sentiment though. Even still, silver dog tags around your neck, and Remick was only carrying gold coins. I said, where'd he get those at? Where did those come from?
Where did
those even come from?
When he fell from the sky. That's when he got them.
Hold on, I'm gonna drop it in Discord. Y'all tell me, because it looked
like 2 coins, right?
Yeah.
With like spiritual symbols on them.
Where'd you put it at?
Yeah, where did you put it?
In the waiting room chat. Hold on, let me drop the goddamn 4 to 7.
Oh, that does look like a coin.
Yeah, that's a coin.
Yeah, I can't tell it. I don't know.
Hold on, let me show y'all on the screen.
So somebody lying.
It could be out of. They could have changed the shape of coins back then.
Huh? I thought it was a dog tag. Okay. Well, shit. Now. Oh, okay. Crispy Spidey Googled it and said the World War I dog tags were circular and silver. That makes sense. Okay.
They're doing the knowledge.
Okay. Doing the knowledge.
I bet.
Okay, so Sammy and Pearline down in the room on top of the sack of flour, getting it in.
Hey, but also it is funny because it really is. We're all black here. We all had the conversation or like the car rides with our cousins where we're just shooting the shit, and they're telling you like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna go to work, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, or they just talk about life that you wouldn't talk about with your parents. But your cousin, you know what I'm saying? Your big cousins.
You talk about that with your cousins for sure.
Your big cousins, you're gonna do shit that you just like. You can't tell a parent about this because why you got me driving doing 60 down the highway? I ain't got no license.
Right.
It really is a thing. So it's like, it really felt like I said the small nuances that just felt like it was us.
Yeah.
Then you said, "Hey, you gonna find the button? You wildin'."
Nah, he was like, you know that ice cream,
and then went up to the door talking about, oh, he found it.
He found it.
It was just him running like, y'all hear this, right?
Yeah, everybody listen to my cousin.
Everybody, yo, that's my cousin. Oh, but I feel like we all been there too. Like even me growing up, like with my older brother and my older cousins, like when I was like in like high school and like starting to flirt and stuff like that, like when they would take me out, like we all be out, they'd be like, yo, you see that, go holler at her, And then they would look and they would be all proud and they'd be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just how family is. And I love that they like captured that.
I just feel like Perlene said she walked from the to the, and Sammy said, hey man,
that ain't a problem.
You're beautiful. Hey, man, what can I say?
I didn't ask you all that.
And that's why I need on top.
That's why I want Ryan Coogler. I know what you are.
Oh, I know what you are.
You are an auntie boy, and I'm proud of you.
I know what you are.
It just keeps growing, and I love it because I said that's an auntie boy special.
Forgot about that husband now.
What husband? Haven't
what
seen
husband? Because like you know that
when a real eater show up,
let a real eater show up. Like, you know that saying, like, don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband? Perlene evolved it. Perlene said, don't let your husband stop you from getting your for a night. I said,
good night.
Period.
Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, and let's stay focused. Okay, so after,
give me a bowl. Okay.
And so after that scene, everybody, where are we at? Mary wants to go outside to the. We must stay focused.
Yeah, because they saw the money. The money wasn't adding up.
Was it she wanted to go outside, or they were like,
so
everybody, you should go outside.
So Smoke and Stack were talking. They're all like, "Hey, we not gonna make it for too much," which is wild. It's like the juke has only been open for a couple hours, and they're like,
I feel like if everything was to go right, they definitely could have made it 2 months because that juke joint was bumping.
It was bumping. God dang. And so they said, "Hey, we not gonna make it to 2 months." I don't know. And then I don't know. Did Mary offer herself up?
Maybe she was like talking to Stack, and she was like, "Yo, how y'all gonna make y'all money?" And he was like, "We ain't got nothing." She was like, "Well, what about them white people that came over here? Let's go ask them." And he was like, "I ain't going out there." And she was like, "Fuck it, give me a gun, I'll go out there."
Yeah, I'm not crazy. She offered to go outside and talk to him.
She did. Yeah, she definitely did.
And then I said, "There goes Mary."
There goes.
I was gonna say we wouldn't have a normal conversation like that. We're just gonna keep it pushing. But the person that doesn't look like us was like, my
thing is, why did Mary go outside, talk to those people, see that man drooling, and then have her back turned when she was walking away?
I know. Why would you?
She wouldn't think about no vampire.
No pip in her step. She just
back turn.
From what I took, like, they knew vampires were a thing. They just never expected it. I think that scene in particular, it just rubbed me away. Like, not in a bad way per se, but like, I was like, I know exactly how this is about to end up. I know exactly why Kugler put this part in. To be like, well, if you don't really look like us, maybe you can go up and say something. Like, it just...
And you brought up... That reminds me. Black person was the first person to die in this movie. A win is a win. Black
Good night.
Die first.
You know what?
That's true. That's true.
Wait. Say it again. You said what?
A black person did not die first.
Mary was a drop black. She was still black.
No. The two white people in the house died first.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Mary. Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Two white people in the house died first.
But shout out to you for being inclusive.
No, I thought we just had the conversation.
You said Mary can play Call of Duty with me.
That's media train SMB. That's media train SMB. She like I still got a brand to protect. I got fellowship.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
Put her in the tournament.
Okay, so now
it was them walking behind Mary the whole time that I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Something ain't right here.
Low key.
My thing is, if, and this is to everybody, if you gonna pull a gun out, don't put the gun away and then turn your back to the people you pulled the gun out on.
Yeah. There was no pep in her step. There was no hustle. It was just...
You got a little survival instinct. We just like, you know what?
I thought
she saw his eyes light up.
I thought she had some survival instinct because she said, Stack, you know me, I beat every bitch's ass up in here. That's what she said. So I said,
she ain't saying loud enough because nobody turned around and said who.
That's true. And see, that's the thing, because like when Mary first got in the juke joint, she drunk a thing of whiskey, and I was like, oh, so you get one drink of whiskey, now it's starting to sound like who stepped on my shoe? People can't say excuse me.
Excuse me.
But if you don't get the fuck out of my face.
She was trying to impress her man. Listen, she was trying to impress her man. I was gonna say something. Okay, so at this point, Mary gets bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think immediately we go to Cornbread. He had to go 5 miles out to go pee.
Yep.
Well, first he let her in.
Cornbread scene cracked me up. Not in like a it was supposed to be funny, but I was just like, oh, here we go. Now all the black people gonna start dying.
Child, Cornbread, why are you walking so? Okay, so I would like to think maybe he was trying to be polite and not just pee on the side of the building. But damn, you went so far.
Right.
Damn.
And I don't know how many of y'all caught, but did you see their eyes glowing in the trees?
Mm-hmm. They were saying his name too.
That was
they were saying his name. Now people,
I do remember saying his name.
Wait, hold on. Mob has a question. Type Mob. What's up? Wait, are we missing something in there? Also, did the juke not have bathrooms?
That's what I was thinking.
Did they stop old boy out already?
They did stomp old boy while she was singing. While Pearline was singing, he ate her out, and she said, "I gotta sing about it."
Okay.
But also,
okay.
And I gotta.
Sometimes you gotta song in your spirit. You know,
the actress even said that she watched like old videos of juke joints to really understand what like somebody singing at a juke joint would look like.
You mean to tell me they got video?
She's thinking like current day, whatever.
Yeah.
Gotta throw it.
Yeah.
She threw it.
They got video of juke joints, but they don't have Wilt in his 100-point game.
Okay, hold on. Wait,
yo.
Mob has a question. Mob says, so do vampires always need permission? Because she had permission to go in, and then she left, and then never went back in, even though she had permission. So maybe you do. I feel like you. I don't know. Maybe they do need permission each and every time they go in, and once they go out, they have to start over. Maybe
my interpretation is one vampire needs permission to go in. They could keep coming back in, but like they would probably get killed going in there by themselves. So for all of them to come in, they all needed permission, which is why I know I'm jumping ahead, but which is why when Shorty did what she did at the end, she said, "All y'all motherfuckers come in here." And so all of them got to run up in there. But before, it was just Mary and Stack.
So you just need to be invited in one time, and then that's it. You could go in and out.
I think so. That's the way I took it. I took it as they need permission one time, but the one time they had a vampire in there, it was just Mary. She was getting shot up. And then the other one time they had a vampire, it was just Stack, and he immediately ran out.
Yeah,
because Annie threw the pickled garlic juice on
Yeah. Right. Okay, wait. Back up. Okay, so Cornbread goes out to the forest. People are saying he got bit on the dick, but I don't think he did. I think he got bit on. That's what people are saying.
Him continuously like peeing and stopping. I think that's what
he was backed up.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He was like, "What is going on?"
I think he was backed
like,
up.
bro, I gotta go. So if it's nothing, I'm gonna keep going.
But yeah, people were saying he got bit there. I was like, I don't think so. I think he got bit on his back.
It matters,
right?
Yeah, they might have just got him on his neck or something. y'all calling us freaky.
Not Cornbread has some kidney stones he was trying to pass. My God, please, my God. But yeah, I would probably be stopping and peeing too, because at the time, like, people are in the forest calling his name, Cornbread.
Mm-hmm.
Cornbread.
Stop.
Okay.
Out of there.
Okay.
You're not seeing me.
So then whatever happens to Cornbread happens, and then we're taken back in the juke. I think during this time, Pearline is doing her dance. They're having a bar fight again with the incorporation.
That was a song too.
But like the way that the music queued up with the stomps on that man's head.
That was
ATL stomping that motherfucker.
And the way
so good.
The way Pearline was crawling around, I would have ate her again.
Mark, I'm gonna kick you out. I'm actually about to kick you out, and that's your time. We must stay focused. We must.
Yo.
Okay. So, and then at this time, Mary found Stack.
Mm-hmm.
They go. They have words. They go up in the back room. They go in the
They
back
had no
room.
words.
Yeah, they did.
They
do
had
their
words.
thing.
They did their thing.
They
And
said, "Hey, baby girl, you drooling? You want some?"
like, we not.
Hey,
Hold on.
No.
Go ahead, Uni.
Even before then, I was like, before they get into the room and she starts drooling, right? The way that she came up to him,
Right, with all this
was not her normal
energy.
Yeah.
We all
Mary.
knew,
That was such a
but it was
switch.
just the
Oh my
immediate like, I
God.
want you. I was like, stop.
Mary.
Who is this lady?
Okay.
Mary, did you know?
Hey, and she came to me and say, "You gonna steal this pussy from me?" I would have been like, "Shit, when, where, what time?"
Okay.
Not even just like the person, like we knew the personality change was going to
We
happen.
gonna have to control the voice chat, please.
Because she has an end goal, right? She has an end goal.
Okay, go ahead, Uni.
Like I can't remember. The twins messed me up. The twin, the red one, was like, nobody stopped for a moment and said, you wasn't like this 10 minutes ago when you went outside.
You weren't talking like this before. Where is this energy coming from?
But I guess he was
I
down bad,
never,
just like
ever
almost
seen
everybody
that.
else.
I
Weak
mean,
in
she
the
grew
knees.
up with them. That's probably her on a
Hell
Tuesday.
Weak in the
Yeah,
knees.
yeah, no bullshit.
Weak in the
Yeah, word.
Weak in the damn knees. They go in the back. They doing their thing. Sammy knocks on the door because at this point the bar fight is breaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy knocks on the door, opens the door. You know.
I said he did. Now you know he did.
Oh, well, now you know he did. He walks out. He grabs Smoke. And then the scene happens. Mary says, "You want some?" He said, "I sure do." And then I said, "Well, that's that." well, that's that. And then Smoke comes back, opens the door. Man, Stack, his neck.
He getting ate up.
For real.
Yeah, bit up.
For real. For real.
Michael B. Jordan ate that part up.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That was scary. The whole theater said, like,
Mary gets shot, gets back up, and then
we gonna kill every one of y'all.
So
every last one of y'all.
What me? Because I said, kill who?
Kill who? What do y'all? Do y'all feel
like who's we?
Do y'all feel anything about that line?
When she said we gonna kill every one of y'all?
One of you?
Really?
I think
we gonna kill every last one of y'all.
I've been on too many New York subways where the crazy person comes on and they be like, I'll smack everybody, I'll smack anybody.
I think
you right.
I think a part of me feels like yes, it was messy and it was all of that. But also a part of me feels like, and I saw a couple of videos on this, but I think she also said it because for whatever reason, however she figured that out, she realized that this is how they stay immortal together forever, and this is how they stay family together, and this is how, they keep the family going.
Right.
Is how I feel.
No, I definitely I picked that up too, where it's like it wasn't just out of like malice. It was like you said, it was like her twisted way of trying to like finally figuring out a way to like bind everyone together where they can like do this for life. And like if they with her having like the drop of black and kind of being in between worlds and like not being fully accepted really, it was a way for them to be like, oh, this is the new way that like if everyone won't accept it, then we can still be together by like blood, by force, it was like it felt like in a moment she like didn't want like destruction, but she wanted like connection,
yeah, fellowship and kindness.
Fellowship and kindness, and she just couldn't find it without, I guess, losing herself,
because she just lost her mom.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then the chaos happens. Mary runs out the building. Smoke is holding his brother. Annie said, "That's not your brother anymore. You need to back up."
Right.
Where am I? I'm sorry.
Well, that didn't happen yet. At this point, she don't even know what they are, so they just thinking he did.
Right. Well, no, because Mary runs out the room.
Yeah, Mary dips out.
Mary after getting shot, Mary dips out. Annie goes in the room with Smoke, and then at this time, Bo and Grace, they see all the hoopla, and Grace said, "This ain't what I signed up for. I'm here for the money. This ain't what I signed up for. Bo, go get the car. Go get the car, Bo."
And Bo was like, "What are you talking about? We gotta help." And she's like, "No, we do not."
Actually, before that, I believe that's when they told Delta Slim and Bo and them to let everybody leave. That's when everybody started leaving, and I'm pretty sure that's when they all got picked off one by one. Then,
oh, absolutely,
Bo goes out, gets the car, and then
he never got the car?
Well, he tried. I don't know if he made it to the car. And then Annie's in the room with Smoke, right, and says, "That's not."
Are we doing the deep dive with Grace? This the moment y'all want to talk about Grace?
No, we're not there yet.
Not yet.
We're not there yet.
Look, I remember
we here on the first bite. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Cornbread came back.
I don't know if I'm misremembering, but
I'm at game 7. My bad.
No, so then after all this happens, Cornbread came back at the door. Fellowship. Da-da-da-da.
Yes, right?
One another.
Yes, they locked the door.
Yeah, they locked the door. And he was telling him like to let him go, and he was like, "No, don't nobody touch him," because like he just didn't want to accept that he was dead.
Right. Yeah.
So they was like, "All right, bet." He locks him up in the room, and then they go out, and then that's when Cornbread comes back. And starts doing his little thing.
What?
Yep.
And I would have threw that money with the utmost force.
Why
did he reach?
But my money. Look what. Let me get my money.
Cornbread. Come on. He said, "Come on."
Come on.
I mean, I worked the whole evening. You better give me my money.
Even in death, I do need my money. Even
you took me off the field for this. I better get paid.
Right.
My wife owed me some.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie though. The quickness with Smoke though. That was the quickness with the shot. I was like, ain't no way.
Wait. Did anyone notice how Cornbread was speaking?
Yeah.
It was like he was code switching. It was so eerie and weird. Yeah. It was.
It's weird because it still sounded like him, but it sounded like he was being somebody else at the same time.
So weird.
Yes.
It feels like me at work. I work with kids.
Come on. Right. It was so.
I teach.
Kind of one another.
It was so weird, and it's like I don't know how to exactly explain it because what y'all were saying before about how Mary came in the building talking totally different, right? Same thing with Cornbread. He started talking totally different, and it's like, was it because there was also parts of it where I do feel like a lot of it was hive mind, but specifically for Cornbread, why were you code switching? It was weird, and I can't figure out what exactly it was.
It's kind of an imitation. I think he was trying to like imitate what he would have said, but not in the way he would have said it.
That's what I was gonna say. It felt like it's a hive mind, so like he's connected to all of them, and so he knows their memories and their thoughts and whatnot. But like he doesn't know them, so all he can do is like read them and try to mimic what they would do.
I also think like
so like when they come in like real calm, they're like normal and shit, but as soon as he starts like trying to like get something, that's when like they real self starts coming out and they start drooling and acting weird and different and shit.
I also think like based on my personal experiences being a Black woman, right? When I come off like more like, for lack of better words, like prim, proper, like calm, people are more willing to listen.
True.
People are more willing to feel safe because I don't come off as a threat, which is a thing to unpack in and of itself.
That's true.
Why do you all of a sudden feel calm when I'm just talking to you like I regularly talk to my other friends? But if they were to came in and acted the same way they were, I think we would have not questioned their motives as much.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Damn. This movie is so layered. Oh man, this is so layered. Okay, so Cornbread, yes, y'all were talking about Smoke with the quick reflexes, shot Cornbread. Cornbread again pops up from the dead, got shot in his damn neck, ran the hell off. Where are we?
That's when the knock on the door. That when
And he said, I'm sorry, this is my favorite line in the movie where he says, Stack, is that you? He said, no, it's Jim Crow. The way I was in the theater cackling. He said, you gonna lock up all this pimping? He was in there cutting up. Also, I hate in any movies where somebody like shoots or stabs through a door and somebody puts their eye up to it. I hate it so bad. It makes me so
right.
So much.
That was bothering me the whole time. I'm not gonna hold you.
It makes me so anxious. I hate it so bad.
I could almost give a pass for Smoke, but when Sammy went back up to that same door that he just almost got stabbed in,
I was like, boy,
what are you doing?
I hate it. And then he charges out the door, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He breaks down the door.
Smoke goes to do something, and then Sammy puts his eye back up to the door, and then Stack
running like
busts it down.
Yep. He was out. He was out. We're not at Greece.
Matter of fact, yeah, because as soon as he got back up, Annie ran straight to the back, said, I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
And started making her holy water.
Yeah. And then where are we?
They found old boy that was stomped out.
He did the get out run, please.
He did. He did. Yes, they found the dude passed out in the back. Ooh, hate to be him. That's worse.
This is why they sinners. They killed that man.
They did. Yeah. They really did.
Yeah, they did.
They said, well, got to get him out. But I mean, it can't take no chances. It can't take no chances.
Wait. We're skipping the dancing outside.
Oh.
No, that's after they drop him. Yeah, after they drop him outside. When they hear the song.
That's true.
Yeah, because they go away for a little bit and then, yeah.
Okay, so through
they
Buddy.
Talking about
go ahead, Joe.
Oh, no, I'm saying that after they threw him out, that's when they start talking about, okay, what is this? Or what are we.
Well, I think they hear the music first, right? Like Smoke and Sammy, they hear the music outside. And then they see
from the door. You're right.
Yeah, they're standing at the door after they drag him out, and then they hear Sammy's like, "Yo, you hear that? That's music." And then it shows Remy in his music scene.
Not Big Remy. Okay, so the first time I saw that scene, I felt so uncomfortable and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I recorded it the second time because the same way I felt with Cornbread. Let me be clear. Remy was getting down, okay? But I wasn't paying attention to him. I was paying attention to everyone else in the background. In the same way I felt about Cornbread. Like, why are you acting like that? The people in the background, they were getting down, but it was like,
yes,
I can't really call what it was. They weren't. It was weird, and I don't know. It was off.
It was all. And something that.
It's like how I feel when I watch a white person twerk. Like it is a little uncomfortable.
No, it's not. It's not that for me. It's like, for me, seeing the way that they were dancing in the juke and they had so much. Their movements were so freedom. It was more fluid and it was more like in tune with their bodies. And then when they got out and they were trying to hit this Irish jig, the river dance, it was like they were kind of moving, but you could tell like
they had no soul.
Yeah, like the movements weren't really natural to them. It kind of made me feel like, okay, this is a hive mind type of mentality because y'all are moving, but you don't really feel those movements. And I could tell that you don't have that same rhythm that you had a couple of minutes ago in the juke. It was off. I don't know. It was weird. Also,
it kind of reminded me of TikTok when Meg came out with that song and black people said, we not doing nothing of this.
Okay. And then also for this scene too, we see all of the eyes. And it's interesting to me that Remy was the only vampire that had red eyes. Everyone else had different color eyes. What's that mean?
Maybe the seven. I know people were also talking about like the 7 deadly sins, and so I wonder if each color was a certain one that person had. But I'd have to watch it. I am gonna go watch it again before. I'd have to watch it again and see like who had what color.
It could have been like he's the leader, maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
Purple, Mary had gold, Remick had red, Cornbread had.
I want to say Stack had blue eyes. It looked like.
It's purple.
Yeah, it was like blue
or purple. Okay.
It like a purple. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because Bo was like whitish.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting that they pick white for him, but proceed.
Wait, where they're dancing outside, they realize that okay, they're dancing out. Wait, no, okay.
Come on.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. I need to see it the third time. They're dancing outside. They go back in the juke, or right, and then they start eating the garlic in the circle.
Yeah.
But also,
yes.
Quick thing with the dancing too. I noticed that like when Sammy was singing and like that whole music scene and like how it kind of brought the whole juke joint together. Like you saw like different, like when you saw like the past, the present, the future, all in different parts of the juke joint. Versus when Remick was singing and at the end how everyone crowded him and he was like in the middle, kind of like, and they were like cheering him on. It was kind of like, I wonder like that, like the opposition of that. I picked up on that too.
Okay, wait. So Sadgal posted something in the Discord, and this says the colors associated with the seven deadly sins are pride, which is violet, envy, which is green, wrath, which is red, sloth, which is light blue, greed is yellow, lust is blue, and gluttony is orange. That's interesting.
And then what was Bo?
What was what?
I said, what was Bo? Because his was white, no?
I think Bo was white. Let me see.
His eyes were white. I don't know. Huh. Yeah, they were like white or gray. It was off. Huh. I don't know.
Grayish white.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like we gotta go see it for a seventh time, y'all.
Have to see it again. Okay, so they go back in the juke. They are in the circle eating garlic, and Perlina's playing games. And I'm sorry, Perline might have had to go. Babes, it's not the time to be playing like you don't want a piece of garlic. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that pissed me off.
I'm sorry.
I was like, it's you just saw like 3 people get shot.
Not now,
get
Perline.
Up and run. It's not now. It's not now. Not now. It's not the time for that.
Please.
It feel like mom at the dinner table. You gonna eat this today,
Perline? Please, not today. Please. Delta Slim, he's been drinking for years, so he thought he had to throw up. Joe, you thought what?
No, I thought Delta Slim was about to have to get out of there.
I know.
Delta. I was nervous.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't have waited.
And then at this time they realize, they go back in the room where the bar fight happened and realize that it was actually wine that was spilled, and then try to bring Buddy back inside, right?
Too late.
Yep.
Cornbread was booking it. Cornbread was
he said, "Ooh, look at you."
Oh my god.
Right.
To get on red carpet school.
And now, everyone, it is that time and it is that hour. So Cornbread starts booking it, eats that man. Remy and Bo come to the door. And Remy starts speaking Chinese, and Grace said, "Hold on."
No. Bo was like, "Just come on, like let's go."
Hey, baby, I got the car started. Let's go.
Remy was like, "I'd hate to see something happen to that little daughter of yours. She's very adorable." And I said, "This man right here."
And so going back to what I said earlier about how it was like it's flipped. So when they were back at the store and those men got shot and Grace was pulling up to the store, it was like, "Bo, you don't see these men on the ground? Like, what happened? Whatever. Now it's like the opposite when Grace is, wait, what point am I trying to make? Wait, was it the opposite?
I don't know, but I'm gonna support you.
Wait, what happened? What happened at the store? Was Bo asking about the people, or was Grace asking about the people?
It was Grace.
Grace was asking about the people. She was like, "You want to do work with these people? Look what they bringing."
Oh, okay.
And he was like, "All right, but look at the check though."
Oh, so it's not really duality then, because the same thing happened the second time with Grace, and Grace was asking Bo again, like, "Do you see these people on the ground?" And Bo was like,
"Well, hell yeah."
And Bo was like, "Well, Cornbread, he just be hungry. All right, so let's get in the car." What? Girl, clearly that's not your man.
I think it's like a lesser of two evils too, because like they know about Smoke and Stack. They know about how they are as people, like how they were when they were there. But this is something she doesn't know about. So I think it's more of, this is what they do. They've done this all the time. They're dangerous, but I know them, compared to this thing eating a guy on the ground.
So then Remy starts speaking Chinese. He said, hey, he said, I know that little thing you like, blase, blase. And Grace said, that's the damn line. And then you're going to talk about my daughter on top of that? That's the damn line. Now, this topic.
He said, I even know how you like to get licked. I said, we need to get about this.
Okay. And so this topic has been so debated for the past 2 weeks.
God.
Grace went back in that juke joint and she said, fuck it. You know what?
Out.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm not waiting. Come on.
I'm going. Sorry, exactly. I was with Grace. I was like, you know what? Bring it. Let's go.
I feel like everybody that was with Grace should took your ass outside and fought those vampires by your damn self, because what Grace did,
that's what
she
I'm saying.
set all those people up in the juke. Even if the vampires were going to come back the next night, whatever, she didn't even give the people in the juke joint a fighting chance to prepare. Right. You could have at least told somebody, hey, I think we should go out there. Let's come up with a little piece of a plan or something. Right. She basically just said, F it. You talked about my family, so all bets are off. I'm going to set all these people up for a damn 50v5.
It speaks to the larger picture of you were invited here and now you ruined it for everybody else.
That is true.
This wasn't even your space. You were invited because you were deemed to be cool enough or to be whatever. And look what you that did. Now you talking about some, oh, what about Lucy? Girl, you dead, your husband dead. Lucy and Orphan.
My thing, she did all of that.
To die immediately.
And just sat with him on fire. I said, what are we doing?
Because the argument that I see people making, like that was her child, very, very valid. But you don't think everybody else had a loved one they were trying to get home to?
Right. Y'all was in there for a hot little minute. They could have killed that girl.
It was unexpected. Just
they could have made a plan.
And have their time and come home.
And what if Pearline wanted to go back to her husband after a long night at the juke? What of it?
I don't know.
First of all, we heard her. She wasn't going back to no husband.
What if she changed her mind?
She meant a real eater. I'm sorry.
She was not coming back, bro.
I feel like she set people up in the juke, and people are trying to paint her as like, oh, well, if Grace didn't do it, then they were gonna.
Then they would have waited till the sun came up, and they would have been safe.
But
what do you mean?
You don't know that though. Like you don't know what the vampires were gonna do. At the very least, Grace could have talked to those people and tried to come up with a damn plan. At the end of the day, they really wanted Sammy. At the end of the day,
exactly.
Right.
So you just set everybody up and then had the nerve to barely kill one person.
Girl.
She wasn't in the field for real. Girl. She wasn't shooting in the gym.
Wasn't shooting in the gym.
The person that she was stabbing, was it Bo? Was it Bo that she was stabbing?
I'm pretty sure it was Bo.
She said
Child, I can't. I don't know. I see people being on Grace's side. I just don't see it. Now the baby don't have no parents. I don't see it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. And so at this time, Grace says, come on in. They came on in, started wreaking havoc, blase. Who died? Delta? Was Delta? No, Annie.
No, not yet.
Annie died. Annie died, yeah.
Okay, before we get into that part, can because I've seen it at least 3 times by now, can I say that there were more people in that place?
I was gonna ask.
Oh yeah.
People died.
I thought I was bugging. Where them extra bodies come from?
I was tripping. I was like, where did he come from?
They just needed some more people. I don't know where they were. They were hiding.
Y'all could have had one little 5-second scene showing a bunch of extra people in the background. Like y'all could have just did that at the very least.
Who are these people?
I thought it.
Because I'm confused. I see somebody die. I'm like, damn, they got. Oh, that's not Delta. Wait.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, wait, who that would jump on?
Yeah, they just had some extras in the building. And then Stack bites Annie. And she said, not you.
Yeah, when she said not you, I was like, no.
That's tough. That's so sad. And then you have to make like a split decision to put the thing in her chest. Like, oh my god.
And it's also dope because when you look at, because you didn't really think about it until like when Annie stood up for Mary when Remy first came to the door, and then when Smoke was about to kill Annie, you saw her like visceral reaction. She was like, "Don't do it, no, don't kill her." And then when she died, you see she was hurt because that connection was still there.
Because I think that definitely plays into how Mary wanted everyone to be immortal together, family, right? Exactly. Right, everyone to be family. So like, but that and it was great because I think a little bit before that, Annie took off her mojo bag and put the contents on the table. And she knew that's why she was like, you gotta make a promise that you gonna have to free me. It's like, I got somebody waiting for me. Oh, that hit my soul.
Yeah. And you do too. How sad.
That's when I processed that the little grave was their baby.
I knew once I saw the rock on the hand, because I mom showed mine. I was like, yeah, that's a baby. That's man.
Now the real question is, if you were to be in this situation, what are you doing?
I don't know.
If your partner or loved one was to turn or get bit, you getting them out the paint, or what you
Bye, sweetie.
I'm getting them out the paint, man, because you're walking the earth for eternity. Like your soul can't go on.
Yeah.
Like, you're just there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna honor it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I don't want to be here that long for eternity.
Then you can't even see the sun. I can't go to the beach.
Right. Exactly. I love the sun.
Right. Can't eat garlic no more. Like, come on, man.
How sad.
You can still stream,
right?
Good night.
For eternity.
I mean, hey,
the longest subathon ever.
The longest.
Truly though.
I love a day party. Okay, so then Annie goes. Delta Slim gets up on that stage, and he said, "Y'all go ahead and take me now." Oh,
went out like a real one.
Oh my god,
he did.
I know them vampires drunk as hell drinking that blood. I know they were tore.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Tore up.
Maybe I'm just a little squeamish, but like
just got a little sweetness to it.
Maybe I'm just squeamish, but why he cut his arm like that?
To draw them away.
Like he could have just did a cross. Why he like scrape it down like that?
For the sake of. I thought it was just for the sake of the movie.
Yeah, to get their attention and oof, God.
I didn't like it either.
Okay, so they go upstairs.
Boy, toss that boy out the goddamn window.
Wait, Perlene's gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, that boy opened the door and Sammy.
He was funny. He really was. He had some moments. I was giggling. He was so funny.
Oh my god!
Sammy! I felt so bad for Perlene.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Perlene.
You done got your life changed from a real Peter and
good
and
night.
What a night! What a night!
Never be 8 again. That's crazy.
Damn. Okay. So
I was coping so much in this part. Because at first when Annie got stabbed out and like Mary and Stack started freaking out, I was like, ooh, wait, what this mean? He might have did some like ancient prophecy stuff. I don't know nothing about no vampire lore. Maybe this is gonna turn him back.
Damn.
And then Pauline got bit. I was like, oh yeah, nah, they ain't finna kill her. Ain't no way.
Oh my god. And then at this time, Smoke and Sack are fighting.
Yeah.
Sammy gets thrown out the
window.
Sammy
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Smoke and Stack are fighting, and then Sammy
but they can't get bit because he has the bag on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Sammy is down by the riverside.
Yep.
Oh boy.
What a scene. And so at this time too, it's interesting because Remy, like, he's starting to change form and become more devilish. Like even his hands are like extending.
I noticed that.
I feel like his teeth or his fangs are like getting more intense. Like it's very devilish. It's very devilish. And so Sammy starts saying the Lord's Prayer, and Remy said, "Oh, I know that one," and starts saying it with him, which is
messed up.
Which is
ooh, that's
insane.
my favorite.
I know
Come on,
that
I'm
one.
gonna help you.
I know.
He said, "Turn it up,
turn it up,
turn it up." It's hilarious.
But then. And see, this is the part where like the religion conversation that we were having comes in, because Remy basically said like, "Oh yeah, I know the Lord's Prayer. They were saying it for my people too, but they didn't save them though." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's damn,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah.
that's tough. That's really tough." And then starts baptizing Sammy in the water.
Right.
I'm still a vampire though.
I didn't process the baptizing until just now. That does make sense because I was personally heavy on the like organized religion during this time. For me, was very shady of like, you're telling me what's in the Bible, but I can't read. You know, I can't read, kind of thing. Like that rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, now I see it as baptized. I'm like, ooh, that just made that scene 10 times worse.
That's what it felt like. It felt like he was baptizing them.
He definitely was.
He was.
He definitely
was.
He definitely
to be reborn as a vampire.
He's like, yep. He's like, yep. We did this too.
Oh God.
You gotta dunk your wing in the sauce before you eat it.
You are so wait. Ranch or blue cheese?
I don't know why you did this, because they're gonna jump us.
Oh my God.
Whatever. I'll stand in my truth.
Neither.
Blue cheese, whatever.
I say neither.
And whatever.
Yeah.
I'm fine with either or. Okay. I personally was heavy on blue cheese, but
not you fellowship. Fellowshipping.
But then that Wingstop Ranch changed my mind.
The real question is flats or drums?
Flats.
Flats.
And all y'all like to give people hard times. That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, wait. Going back. Raven in the chat said, "I realized he baptized him 3 times, and I feel like it represented the Father of the Son and the Holy Spirit."
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh. You know what? Pat did ask me about that, and I was like, I don't know how many times he dumped him.
Damn. Yeah, because he did baptize him 3 times, and a lot of people correlated with that, and it makes sense because that's, like I said, that's where his people it was pushed on him, Christianity and like all of it, and just seeing the dualities of what actually, because I swear he sees vampirism as something that saved his people, because I'm pretty sure he's not the only one that's out there. Right. So I'm pretty sure he sees that's something that saved him instead of Christianity and what people were pushed on him saying that was going to save him, but it didn't. So he sees something like that in that, saying, "Hey, this is not something you think is real. It's not. To us, this is more real to me than it is to anything else." So it's
also interesting, kind of like going back to Remy's backstory. What Mark was talking about earlier, if you guys haven't seen on Spotify, they have a thing where you could look at the soundtrack for the movie, and then you scroll all the way down to like where the verified artists are, and they have like different newspaper articles that they made for the movie, and they have like an entire backstory on Remy and like him coming to America in the boat that he was on. He like slaughtered everybody on the boat. It's wild.
I have to look at that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's on. I can't send the link because it's like on the Spotify app. It's like you have to scroll.
You gotta go to like the verified artist.
Yeah.
Damn, go Spotify and shit.
It's really
I didn't even know the soundtrack was up there.
Oh, it's good.
I teach seniors in high school. They was busting out the Irish jig dance and gym class. And I said, y'all must be stopped.
The kids gonna be all right. Okay. The kids gonna be all right. Okay, so baptized in the water. And then Sammy picks up that guitar, hits him in the side of the head. And so the first watch, I was like, why are all of them feeling that? Is it the hive mind?
Yeah. Because I think they said it was sometime in the juke joint after he got hit the first time, they said, "Oh, he feels their pain or something or they feel his pain or something like that."
Because he's the original to them. He's the one that turned all of them in.
Damn, that's crazy.
It kind of felt like a I feel your pain, but like they don't.
Did we skip when Stack told Smoke, "Sorry, I couldn't protect you," and he was like, "Oh, well, you were always good." You know what I'm saying? You always did.
Oh, it's in between.
It's in between. It's at the same
time. Go ahead, Joe.
Because yes, remember the snake at the beginning, who killed the snake?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh, you were always the protector. So it's like, oh man, I couldn't protect you this time, but you always did a good job at it. I think that was just a good callback to it. Yeah.
And
even with the go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and somebody made a correlation between Stack and Annie. I'm sorry, Stack and Mary, and even Mary being in there talking about, you taught me how to beat every bitch ass up in here, right? And then at the beginning of the movie, Smoke had said that Stack can't watch his own back, and so it's interesting how if Stack can't watch his own back, he taught Mary everything that she knows about fighting. The way that they ended up, it's all very interesting.
And she didn't watch her back. She literally didn't watch her back.
Yeah.
Because he said too, the whole reason he tried to get rid of her is because he knows he can't protect her. Like, the way that Smoke can protect people, he knows like that's not me for real. Like, something gonna happen. We gonna be out there. They gonna see me. They gonna see you. Like, I'm not gonna be able to be there for you. So at least you know how to do something on your own.
And somebody in chat brought up the good point. He protected them from their dad.
True. Damn. Okay, so they get hit in the head with a guitar. Remy gets hit in the head with a guitar. They all feel it. I'm assuming because they all feel that hit. That's how Smoke is able to. I said, damn, how he get down here so fast? I thought he was getting his ass whooped upstairs. What you doing
they all
down
look
here?
very preoccupied.
All right,
so.
And he has the final stab in the back, in the heart, whatever, and then Remy goes up in the little fiery tornado.
Bless up.
What a scene! What a
truth. I've seen the movie 3 times, and going into the third time, it made me really look at Remick and who his character is, knowing that he is of Irish lore. And I was doing a little bit of research because a feu months ago we all saw Nosferatu. For those, Nosferatu is based on an Irish like lore. That was one of the first vampires, of course. And when I saw him, I went back and watched Nosferatu, and I was like, wow, there are a lot of similarities of how Nosferatu on a younger looks like Remick, but with the completely sharp fangs, the long fingers. Like it's kind of in that realm of probably where Remick came from. Because I don't think in the article it showed or told him like where he came from specifically. But since it is in that area, it kind of gave me like a little correlation of what it was like over there.
That's true.
Whoever just compared it in the chat to Demon Slayer, that's exactly how I felt when I saw that scene.
Damn. That's just so many layers. And then he goes up in a fiery tornado. And then Sammy and Smoke are looking at everybody burn because suddenly the sun is coming up at this point. I thought there was a couple more hours in the night. Apparently not. Sun comes up and they all burn. And then what? It's the next morning, right?
Yeah.
And damn, like
Clan's coming.
They're the only. I mean, on top of everything else, I done fought vampires all damn night. Now I gotta deal with the clan. Oh my god!
I'm so stressed watching this movie. I completely forgot that vampires are weak to sunlight, and then it wasn't until he pulled the guns out that I even remembered the KKK pulling up.
I did that. I completely forgot. I would have been like, "Yo, can I get a timeout?" I didn't even
clap when Remick died. I clapped when he shot up.
The Klansman. When I saw the first shot, and I was like, "Oh, he's sniping. He got it for real."
God,
from the bushes, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm out of ammo." Ha! Psych! Another gun in the ground.
Like, what an insane night! That whole scene was crazy to watch. When he took a bullet to his stomach, I said, "Damn!" But also, was it right before? Was it right after Sammy left and he was trying to roll up the cigarette and he was shaking? It's when he took off that hate bag, and
But they said
maybe I would too. Yeah,
they were saying his character already had shaky hands from the war. That's
right.
Why.
That's why Stack was always rolling the cigarette.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yes,
but
because I feel like if I remember, they showed that scene and then they showed his brother rolling up the paper, but then they started showing other flashbacks. So I didn't know if that was just him stressed or if that was them showing like he actually does have shaky hands.
Yeah, he has shaky hands.
And then they were saying the Klansman pulled on the door and saying it was locked. It was because his brother and old girl was in there. He had locked them in there.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Oh.
Yeah, because him and Mary had ran off, and I'm pretty sure when he came back, he locked him in the.
Wait, so we're saying, because I know from the posting credit that that Smoke and Stack made a deal talking about you're not gonna hurt Sammy.
Yeah, he's allowed to live his life.
So we're thinking that Smoke.
That Stack probably grabbed Mary too.
No.
And ran back up in there.
Like, no, I'm saying you think that Smoke knew that they were locked in there? He locked them in there himself?
I think he locked them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he made the deal with Stack, and then he went and grabbed Mary. They went back in the farmhouse because the sun was still coming up, and like he had to go out there and get Remick right then and there, so they didn't have time to go nowhere or plan nothing.
Yeah, because Mary.
So he probably grabbed Mary, ran back up in there. And then Smoke, like, he wasn't gonna kill him because he did make a deal. So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna keep y'all locked up so y'all can't get out and hurt nobody, but also so y'all can't die, and so the clan can't get you." So
that's interesting because we didn't see where Mary went after she ran off into the forest, but we know that she survived from the post-scene credit.
Right.
From the post-credit scene,
now I think about, I only remember her, like, seeing her in the scene where they was like dancing and whatnot before they pulled back up to the house. I remember seeing Stack there. I don't remember seeing Mary.
Mary wasn't fighting and being no bitch's ass like she said she could. I'll tell you that. I ain't see her doing none of that.
It's just given. That's my man, and I'm gonna stick beside
him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he shoots up the clan. Grenade in the car, just a real good, just a just great. at least end on a banger, my God. And then he gets shot, he sits down, and then he sees Annie and her baby.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
That was so beautiful. That was heartbreaking but beautiful.
Crossing over.
Also called him by his first name.
Come on, Elijah.
Yeah, Elijah. Yeah.
I don't want you to get that smoke on. I said.
Oh.
Yeah, that was writing right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that cracked up when old dude was like, "Hey, I got money for you"? He looked at
me like, "Fam, I'm having a moment, bro."
Y'all see me talking?
Right.
Y'all see me talking?
You don't see me talking?
And lit him the hell up on the ground.
Laid him.
Lit him up. Yeah.
He was like, "I know that's right. Shoot him up." I said, "No, please."
Oh, that was such a beautiful scene. That was just, at least y'all could be together. Yeah. Okay. And then Sammy goes down to the church, driving back the way that he was promised. He was promised that he
back to where we started.
And back to where we started. Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is, I'm looking at my computer screen. The runtime that you've been streaming is the runtime of the movie.
I know. We went through the entire movie. We went through the entire.
Yo.
This is a breakdown, okay? We have never, from beginning to end. We on the credits now.
We on the credits.
Right.
Okay.
I think it was just it was good.
Parker said it feels like we watched it again.
I hate the conversation
feel like
going
it's
around
that
people.
long.
We're about to start singing Rod Wave, and we will not. Let me tell you. Wait, I'm sorry. Joe, you said what?
No, I'm hating this conversation that people are having just to be divisive about the movie, saying, "Oh, I didn't like it. It didn't make sense. It moved too fast. The plot wasn't there." No, just say you were in a class with 3 other people.
The thing about this movie, I feel like, and maybe I can't really speak on it because I feel like my third eye is always open, but I do feel like you can enjoy this movie without seeing all the symbolism in the layers.
Yeah,
and all of the,
it's,
right?
It's really good. Action thriller horror movies. It's just a good movie.
Yeah. But it's just the layers and the breakdown of it all. I'm obsessed with it. It's really, really good. It's a great movie. And I think Oscars need to be won. I think.
Yeah. Oh my God. If this is not nominated, I'm gonna go. I might actually go insane.
And
I want Delaware Lindo win a reward. I'm sorry.
Yeah. LeBron James' daddy.
Man.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, especially Michael B. Jordan to play 2 damn roles the way that he did.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I forgot at one point, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot he was one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that good. It didn't feel awkward. It didn't feel stiff or unnatural. Like it was so good. So good.
And other people were saying that like Chadwick would have been good to play like the brother or the cousin. I don't think it would have hit the same.
I think Michael B needed to play both.
With the Jonathan Majors thing.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors was not gonna fit in that movie.
No, I don't want to put Jonathan Majors in the conversation because
jokes aside, I genuinely don't even know who I would imagine him playing in this movie. So we good.
I think he could be an extra in the juke for the dance scene.
He could be somewhere in the juke.
They didn't even need costume for him. He could have just shown up.
He didn't even smoke a stack.
Come camera ready.
I already got clothes for this.
Everybody's role was perfect.
I'm with the rest of them.
Yeah, it was.
Chadwick should have been Delta Slim. I said absolutely not.
No.
Hell
no. Okay, wait. Before we go about final thoughts, do we want to talk posting credit? Post credit scene?
Yes.
Okay, so at least the first
had that
one.
shit on.
Yeah, at least the first one. It was so nice to see older Sammy. Also, how sad that you were the only person that made it. Like, how traumatizing.
Yeah.
You can't tell that story to nobody.
I love that he called the club Perlene.
What you mean he can't?
Who you gonna tell that story to?
He is a blues singer. He got content for years. You see, he's still working here.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
He had records on records. I just love that he called the club Perlene's. That was nice.
That girl changed his life. Tasted so crazy that he said, "I'm gonna name a club after."
That's crazy.
City Girls up. And then we see Mary and Stack in their 90s Coogee sweater and Mary sucking on a lollipop.
Why did he have on a Jesus piece?
Yeah.
That part.
No, really though. Why? Why?
You know Remy doing that prayer on Sammy.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure they did grow up in the church because like I said, they were family. And I'm pretty sure that he went to the same church as the cousin.
But why is a vampire wearing the Jesus piece?
Yeah,
that's not crazy.
A vampire wearing the Jesus piece is kind of wild, don't you think?
It's wild, but
I mean, Remick was reciting from the Bible, so
not the drawstring ponytail, y'all. Please.
And they said that they buy all of Sammy's music. They've been listening since they crossed over, and he became a blues artist. They've been supporting ever since, which is okay.
So real.
So,
it kind of like humanized them.
She gave him $200. That goes back to my theory of everything being divisible. He gave him $200.
Yeah. He put it on the table. Yeah.
Interesting.
So anytime that money was involved, it was always divisible.
Interesting.
And especially when they were like, that was probably some of the best moments.
How sad.
That was when I felt free.
Oh, he was like, that's the last time I see my brother. It's the last time I see the son. Oh.
It's crazy too because it's in the correlation of how the film was. Like everybody was looking for freedom, and even though Smoke and Mary, Stack and Mary, they found freedom, but not in the way that they thought they found freedom. It's not what they envisioned because in a way they're still trapped. But Sammy was able to have freedom. He was able to live his life. He was able to live as long as he did. But like everybody else fell on the wayside because they never got to experience it the way that they wanted to.
And how and that's
what made me
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
On a deeper level, the conversation about freedom is, I feel like, a common theme for the movie, and that's really sad because, like, even talking about freedom, I think about Delta Slim and how there was that scene where they were driving and they saw like the chain gang on the side of the road, and while those people weren't necessarily enslaved they kind of were though, and even Delta Slim saying like, I know all of them, right? So it's like even when you're free, are you really free? Like even with Smoke and Stack buying the slaughterhouse to begin with because they're trying to do this uplifting thing for the community, look who they gotta deal with in the morning. Hell, look at who they gotta deal with at night. It's like, are you ever really free? That's it. It's sad. It's real sad.
Yeah.
I was gonna say another thing that made me sad about that scene, like just thinking back to how good Ryan Coogler was with like callbacks in this movie, was how like in that scene Stack was saying like that night was like the last time they got to see the sun, like that was the last time he got to see the sun. But then also I remember like in the beginning of that movie when Smoke didn't even want to go through the deal because he like, man, it's getting late, it's probably not even gonna work. First thing Stack told him was look up at the sky.
Yep. That was the last time. Yeah, last time we saw the sun. Yeah.
How sad.
See now, what didn't click for me was the post credits, seeing Sammy again being younger. I was just kind of like, I think I was also like in awe of the movie that I was like, why is this one scene here? That's where I'm stuck.
I think it was to showcase his I guess Miles like singing ability.
Yeah. Also, Britt made a good point. Maybe just to shine some light on the actor, this was his first role ever.
Yes.
That's very first role.
Crazy. That is crazy.
Hey, man.
That was crazy. Like he did such a good job, and even his voice, and just it was just so. And I just felt like the last scene was just like a flashback, and maybe let's end it on a high note. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
that's true. And he did say he learned how to play the guitar for this role.
Yeah.
Let me pick up my guitar.
Come on.
It was the first role, and he was next to literal legends and upcoming like Michael B. Jordan, Wume, Haley, Delroy. You're next to these people.
Yeah, like your first film is with Delroy Lindo.
Man.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And he's giving you praise. That's when you know you got something.
Also, while we are here, not every movie needs a sequel. We do.
No.
Yes.
No.
I saw this one TikTok. This dude tried to like do the MCU. I was like, dog, what are we doing?
I also saw that too. Selfishly, I would like a prequel. I would like a little more insight on some people's backstory, but I don't necessarily need a sequel. That's it.
No.
Yeah.
I would like them to give Blade to Ryan Coogler.
There is no sequel. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do now?
There is no sequel. Everybody dead.
Yeah. But a prequel, I'd be.
A lot of people said. Yeah, a lot of people said they would love to see the twins in Chicago.
Yeah. I think that's what I want.
Yeah.
And just because the movie was so good, but as far as the sequel, I don't really envision anywhere else you could go with it.
I kind of hope he goes the.
You can't see a '90s vampire movie with Mary and Stack called Two Sinners.
That's Vampire in Brooklyn. We got it. We cool.
Yeah.
You're right.
What was I gonna say?
I hope he. Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't know what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
I hope Ryan goes the like the Jordan Peele route. You know what I'm saying? Where like he just does like a one-off movie that could have smaller connections. You know how like they say like Get Out has small connections with Us and Us has small connections with Nope. I think I would like that. Like there's like little, not like actual same universe. It doesn't have to be that, but I hope like Ryan Coogler just puts out like how he did, like how Jordan Peele does, where like they just put out original stuff that could have some connections. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Misfit said the success of this movie should be proof to the industry that people want new, fresh, original stories. No more reboots. Exactly.
For the love.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And this movie should be proof that people still want to go to the theaters too.
Yeah.
Like, it was in the theaters. Stop putting everything to streaming after 2 days.
Like I was trying to go to IMAX in 70, and because I live in New York City, I can't get a ticket. Like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday is sold out. Like that's insane.
Facts. I'm in Dallas. There's only two here. There's one in Dallas and one further away.
Cinemark, yeah.
That 70 millimeter has been sold out for the last 2 weeks. I cannot get a ticket.
Mark said, "I was there." Mark said, "I was on the news."
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. This was just like I said at the beginning of the stream. Like this movie has really rewired something in my brain, and the fact that we are existing in a time. Mark called it a Black Renaissance, and I agree. Like the way that we are existing in a time. Yes, the world is burning, but for Sinners, the halftime performance, Cowboy Carter, and South of Midnight, for all of these things to exist around the same time is very interesting to me.
And all of them have the same thread of like something about the South.
Yes.
Yep.
Something
like Kendrick talked about the South.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Cowboy Carter, about the South, country, South of Midnight, Deep South, Sinners is Deep South.
The Met Gala coming up.
It's up, Oh my God!
Yeah,
you know they go. You know we're gonna see a lot of. Yeah, you know we're gonna see a lot of Sinners type outfits in that Met Gala. Also, get your suits now, cause Halloween we gonna see a lot of smoke and stack.
I think I want to be cornbread.
I already got my
be
suit.
Mary.
I got my suit and I got my hat. I'm ready already.
I'm gonna just be the guitar.
I'm gonna be the guitar. Damn, did we get all our points? Damn, we have been yapping. We have never yapped like this before. Are we missing any points? I feel like we went through the whole movie.
We went through the movie. The whole movie. Exactly, Scotty. Yeah, reincarnated. Yeah.
Only if somebody wants to put their kufi on. That's it. That's all we got.
I feel like you always want to put your kufi tired today. Oh, kufi tired. Goofy said that is enough.
I was definitely a little bit earlier. Was y'all talking about how Sammy's supposed to be the man at the crossroads?
Robert Johnson. Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah,
we talked about it. Yeah. I will say I said it in the Discord channel. I've been listening to a lot of blues music lately. I have.
How you vibing with it?
Yeah. I'm kind of into it. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Buddy Guy, because my mom grew up on blues, and she raised me, and it's like seeing Buddy Guy in the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh,
yeah, that was a really nice touch.
Legend. It got me back into just listening to a whole bunch of blues again. I was like, man.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really, really nice. You know what we didn't talk about? I'm so sorry. You know what we did not talk about? The correlations in this movie, specifically of Remick and culture vultures. Did we ever?
I was thinking that too.
Did we ever go anywhere with that?
You said Remick is Canadian.
Slightly. Oh, okay.
All
right.
Please don't send those people up in here. Please.
Run to the Delta when you need a strict balance.
Please do not send those people up in here, please.
Oh
God. But yeah, I was thinking culture vulture when he was standing outside with Bo. Like, come on, Grace, everything's okay.
Yeah. That's what I said. We talked about it slightly with the Grace situation about being invited. But yes, a lot of people want to be included or be involved in what we have going on. Well, you have your own culture, but people don't want to go along with it, and it doesn't tie with everybody else in comparison.
Or they don't see their culture as I would say as enticing, because he had his culture. He was showing his culture a lot, doing the songs and the jig and stuff like that. But
not fucking with that banjo.
Yeah, but even with that, he needed Black culture to do what he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. I feel like it's a conversation that keeps coming up. Even in today, we see so many artists, for example, and they make their transition to hip hop. They make their transition to rap music because they feel like, yeah, thank you. And they feel like, yes, this is how I get on, and this is how I get a viral hit, and blase blase. And then when they are done with that hip hop, they shed it, and then I don't know what I was thinking, y'all. I'm back to my country roots, and so. Yeah, it's just very
crazy. Like, and even people who, just like how you, to piggyback off what you said, like even people who are making bread off of this culture,
yes,
actively disrespecting it. Like Ian disrespecting Tyler. And mocking, or that one dude, I don't know who his name, I don't know who he is, but talking about get that sample. I don't like soul
that
sample.
music.
You wouldn't be getting paid if it wasn't for that type of music, bro. Who are you talking about?
And so, yes, it's like we see that time and time again, and it's frustrating because I might be speaking out of turn, and I'll take that. But I do feel like when it comes to Black culture, we are so inclusive. We are so, you can be on this song, you can be invited to the cookout, you could be all these different things, right? And it's just interesting to see it time and time again. And it's like, not saying you cannot partake in Black culture, not saying that at all. But time and time again, it's like we see people use different forms of Black culture and completely disrespect it. We see them, and I hate to keep talking about rap beef, but like all of this is like, it's all connected for me. And it's just frustrating to see artists like Kendrick, artists like Doechii. They are, rapping in ways that are very similar to the roots of rap, right? And then you have people talking about, oh, this is slavery music. Oh, this is, X,
they
Y,
are
and
an industry
Z.
plant or this, that, and the third. Just like, it's literally 3 other people that don't look like us that are industry plants. Like, what are we talking about?
X, Y, and Z. And then if we're going back to this time last year, I feel like Euphoria dropped. And
around this
like
time.
tomorrow,
right.
tomorrow,
and then the whole conversation, the many conversations that were going on with Drake and Kendrick, and you had so many people inserting themselves in conversations where it's like, you don't care about the actual culture of rap and hip hop and actually what goes into that. You're just popping your shit because you're a fan of Drake, but then you're trying to make these hot takes that just really don't apply to the culture at hand. And so it's just, I just really think like all of these things tied together. And even when I was trying not to see any Beyonce spoilers from the tour yesterday, even seeing some of the imagery that she was using and, mentioning you cannot, I forgot the exact phrasing, but it was like, you can't. Basically, we started country music, so like you really can't gatekeep me out of this shit because we were the ones that invented it in the first place. So it's just very interesting how time and time again, not even in today's society, but we're talking years and years and years. We can talk about rock and roll. We can talk about Elvis. We can talk about all of these people that were brushed aside. Hell, we can talk about the Dream Girls and what was the damn song? Look at me, mister, I'm a star. The way that they did that song is just like time and time again. It's just frustrating. Cadillac Car, thank you. It's just frustrating to continuously witness over and over again. That's it.
Yeah.
Koofy off for the rest of the day. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I put my Koofy on. Because it's also, it's very, because to piggyback off of that too, like it's crazy how even from the correlation of like real life, like how you were talking about with them in the movie, where it's like even picking different, like in the movie, like picking different Black people to try and like sway to get in there too, like Cornbread and other people. But like in real life too, where it's like today where we see so many people try to like either use Black people to kind of divide and get themselves in as like a Trojan horse type of thing, like Shade Room, for instance,
like Popeyes and Don Julio. Exactly, Mark.
Exactly. Or like how we see like on Twitter, like all these hip hop pages popping up, and like none of them are really owned or by black people, you know what I'm saying? But they're like hot, just spitting out hot takes every day to try and like get us to argue and stuff like that. It's
50-50 dates?
Don't start.
100 men versus a gorilla?
You know what? I actually, not for nothing, I made a funny little video, but honestly, I appreciate that conversation more than the other conversations that were being had.
Yeah, same.
I will say that. At least it's those conversations happening. I appreciate that.
I think the crazy thing is, because a lot of people, because I already kind of had this conversation in Discord, where a lot of people will make fun or poke fun at American blacks to be like, oh, you don't have culture.
And why is that? That's so crazy.
It's really hard because the overseas people were I haven't read a report myself, but some people were saying they didn't understand the movie or they didn't like it. But I'm like, you guys have a different experience than what we have. So we tie closely to it because this is an experience that dates back to grandparents, great grandparents, a few generations removed. But you guys are holding it over our heads where we don't know where we're from because we can't trace that back.
Isn't that so nasty? What you want me to do?
Very annoying.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. You're saying, oh, I'm Jamaican. My parents are born in Britain. Their parents are born in Britain. But 7 generations, my family came from Jamaica. And it's like, wait a minute. You're European at this point because you are so far removed from that. We're so far removed from that, but it's like you get to say, "Hey, I'm Jamaican. I can trace that back," but we don't have that same. You are literally 1 or 2 boat stops away, my brother. We don't have. You know what I'm saying? We can't trace that back, and we don't know. But it is not a reason for us to be poked fun at or to say we don't have a culture. We do. We just can't trace it back. So we made do with what we did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting.
Even as like someone like my like majority of my family's from Jamaica, I would even argue that we can't even fully trace our stuff back either. So it's like they're trying to make a separation for no reason when like even me watching it, right? Like I don't understand everything South wise just because like that wasn't I was raised up in, but I had I felt the understanding of the struggle and things like that by the end of it. But even in like my personal scenario, like I can't really trace back how far my family lineage goes. But I know we were colonized by the British just like most of everybody else. So there's something there.
I just think it's just such a crazy statement to make saying that Black Americans don't have culture.
Crazy.
That is
a crazy statement.
Nuts. That is nuts.
There's too much shit around the world that gets used by us, that came from us for that statement to even be uttered.
That is nuts, man. That's insane.
Like a slap in the face.
Across the diaspora, it's just like we have different cultures, absolutely. But across the diaspora, why are you being divisive across? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need. There's literally no need.
And
there's no need.
And I don't even feel like you can make that argument after the whole whoever brought it up earlier, the Megan Stallion thing. No Black TikTok creators made it a dance. People was in shambles for like a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy. And then when you bring it up, they gonna tell you it ain't a thing. There was an entire conversation going on with K-pop Twitter. Having an entire conversation said, no, we weren't influenced by you guys. Girl, I can see it. You got dreads in your hair. I can see it. What do you mean? Yeah, I don't know.
But then they love to say, oh, braids, for the example. The Vikings had braids. And there'd be people on TikTok like, the Vikings did not have cornrows like this. Which you got is not the same Viking braid, shawty. That is not it.
Right. Then they try to braid their hair and right. They braid their hair and then do a TikTok that is falling out.
Exactly. Like
this is just all in all, wow, what a movie. What a conversation.
Wasn't it?
So many layers.
This weekend. I don't care.
It's not going to be in theaters this weekend. I think like tomorrow the last day, y'all?
Tomorrow's the last day. Yeah, tomorrow's the last day. I think for IMAX.
Oh, is it just IMAX? Tomorrow's the last day.
I think so because Thunderbolts is taking over.
You're right.
Thunderbolts needs to share. They need to share the screen. They need to share.
It's Disney. You know they're not doing that.
They need to share.
Disney.
Damn, IMAX is where it's at though.
Yeah.
IMAX is the way to way to see it.
The wide pan in some of those scenes, I was like, ooh.
Damn. What a beautiful movie. Thank you guys for yapping with me for 3 hours.
Of course.
Thought we'd be here for an hour, but here we are on hour 3, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
This wasn't gonna be a 1 hour yap, let's be honest. It was too much.
I didn't expect for us to go from beginning to end. I really didn't. But we had to.
Me and Mark off rip. You knew it was gonna be a minute. You knew.
Right.
Yeah. This was good.
You called the yappers and then more
the big
yappers.
Yup. Thank y'all. I appreciate you.